hit pit road before we go green and make some minor adjustments. Meanwhile, confidence is much higher today in the 15th pit. Their race car set up more for the warmer conditions, not the overcast, chilly weather seen on Sunday. Mike?
When we left yesterday, 2 cars were in the garage area, Kenny Wallace's and Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s. Wallace's car will begin to be repaired as soon as the yellow flag comes back out. From yesterday until right now, we're still in a red flag condition. No work could be done. Sadly, though, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car in the hauler and headed home after half a lap of running.
You know, I just think, and you and I talked about this, I just don't think it was meant for Dale Jr. to run this race this weekend. I know that emotionally, I can't imagine that he was prepared, and I believe there was just some reason that he was supposed to load that car up and go home.
It's funny, the skies opened up just long enough to run that half lap and ease that car into the wall and then back onto the truck. So it just was not meant to be for him. Kenny Wallace is going to try to get back in this race. And now, Larry, these teams have had all night to think about the changes in the weather, the changes in the track. But as our pit reporters have said, we got to run very few laps yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, most of the race was run under caution. But I tell you, I got to talk about a car that I'm really going to watch. I think Jeff Gordon's got a good car, Steve Park, Tony Stewart, but Ward Burton in that Dodge. He started 11th. He had worked his way almost to the top 5. Pit stops there before the red flag. Had to come back in for loose lug nuts. He's got to restart this race in 34th. It's a tough road to get back to the front.
But there's a problem on Burton's car. When he climbed in this morning, only 3 sticks of chewing gum remained on the dash. He's lost one since yesterday, and replacing the chewing gum was not on the list of approved things could be done to that car, so Ward's a little disadvantaged.
Well, the drivers always have, there's so many things they have to deal with, you know, so many problems, and I'm sure he'll be explaining that to his crew chief, particularly on these restarts.
Yeah, if we interview Tommy Baldwin and he's chomping away on that stick of juicy fruit, we'll know where it went.
We'll know who got it.
Right.
Just ahead of Burton there, Kevin Harvick tapped to drive the Richard Childress car. Richard has said the number 3 will not be used. It's on a moratorium for the balance of this season, and a black number 3 will never be raced again out of the Childress Racing shop. So here this car is in white and with the first available number that does not contain a 3. 29. There we are, right inside Ward Burton's car. You saw the as he had a look inside, and it's like, hey, it's only 3 sticks. What happened? Oh,
Matt Yoakum.
Matt Yoakum. Well,
there it is.
Maybe that's where the other stick of gum went. Well, David Pearson used to have a cigarette lighter on his dashboard, and different drivers have different things.
All the comforts of home right there.
You know, you can look at the 7 car coming down pit road right now, and you can tell that the guys were not allowed to do anything to those cars overnight, or he would have made his look a little better.
We expect several of the drivers toward the back of the pack will come in and pit during these caution laps. And in the garage, Kenny Wallace's car is being repaired. Their crew indicated they would need about 10 minutes to get it back on the racetrack. Todd Bodine has come in, Rick Mast, Jimmy Spencer, who was involved in that lap 1 incident, and Buckshot Jones, all making pit stops. We're under a yellow condition. These laps are counting. We're now at 53 of 393 laps.
You know, Kenny Wallace and those guys could survey the damage of that car. Wouldn't surprise me if it didn't go back home last night, even fabricate some new parts, body parts and so forth to put on that car, and he could get back out there and get a decent finish, you know, the way this race started off.
Now, 2 drivers that will restart at a disadvantage. We mentioned Ward Burton, who had to make another pit stop under caution when it was raining yesterday afternoon to tighten left front lug nuts, and Kenny Schrader, who came in and made an additional pit stop to tape up the nose of the car. They'll both be restarting deep in the field.
And I got to believe a lot of these guys that's on pit road right now, again, most everybody took fresh tires on under that caution before the red flag, and we are in the 1 to go. But a lot of them, they made adjustments to their car, I'm sure, on those pit stops based on the weather being cool. A lot of people complaining about the cars not turning. But if you was a little bit loose yesterday, this racetrack's going to be slick. Rear end wanting to come around. It's going to be looser today.
Yeah, well, a lot of people were saying, I talked to Bobby Labonte and several, that their cars were really, they were comfortable, but they were a little tight, and that's really kind of where I'd want to be if I was starting this race right now with the sun out the way it is. Take a few laps to get some rubber down. This track got a lot of rain on it last night, some sand washed down into the groove. Tell you something else people don't realize. When they run those jet dryers around here, there's a residue that comes out of that jet fuel, and that can cause the track to have a little bit of a tendency to be a little loose on the get-go.
Now, Stacy Compton's our race leader. We have 54 laps completed. He stopped back on lap 29. And now We don't expect to see him make an appearance on pit road, and now we're set to go racing.
It's a single file restart. Really no cars a lap down other than Mike Wallace. And the disadvantage of that this early in the race, the leader takes the green flag, which may be why Stacy Compton did what he did. The last car's in turn 3, so you're almost a half a lap down.
Green flag on a sunny Monday morning. We're back racing at the Rock. And Gordon goes for it right away.
That's the difference in stopping and getting 4 fresh tires than having some that you've ridden around a few laps on.
This place is so hard on tires. Any laps at all, you almost got to come on the pit road if the caution comes out. We're going to see pit crewmen are going to be very busy people today.
Yeah, and the thing about Stacy, all he can really do is kind of roll up out of the way because these guys they're a lot faster than he is.
We saw this Saturday in the Busch Series race where it was a Ryan Newman that stayed on track with worn tires and had to sit helplessly and watch the whole field on new tires shoot right by him after a restart.
Pretty much everybody on the fresh tires running the bottom of this racetrack. As a little bit of rubber gets down, the cars get to sliding around. We'll see them move up to that upper groove.
Mike Wallace will pit, repairs to his car, or rather he just drops to the back of the pack, let everybody go past it. He's just trying to cycle some laps. He's getting a little close though.
Oh yeah, they're starting to push and shove a little bit. Some of these cars are wanting to go to the front, and they're fast, and they want people to get out of their way.
See Sterling Marlin in that 40 car right there. He started 26, already moved up to 13th. He was very happy with his car in these conditions in Saturday's practice. And look at him, he's right around the bottom of this racetrack, moving up on 97, Kurt Busch there.
Ward Burton is back in there, as you mentioned, Larry, on the start opening here, and he is just having a terrible time working traffic. They're 2x2,
yep,
and no place for him to go.
He was pinned behind Matt Kenseth and now goes to the high side. Burton's yellow number 22, following Kevin Harvick in the Richard Childress 29.
He's got that baby. He's got the pedal to the metal. Did you see her fishtail up off the 4 there? He come up out of that corner. Come up out of that corner and got up on that straightaway.
And the downside of what he's having to do, he's got a good race car, is working traffic, overdriving the car. It's overworking the tires, and by the time you get toward the front, you've used up your stuff.
Kurt Busch trying to hold off Sterling Marlin. Busch, the rookie, in the unsponsored Jack Roush car. Be riding with Dale Jarrett just back of them. Dave Blaney to the left in front of Jarrett.
I believe Jarrett's got a very comfortable car. He seems to be just biding his time.
This is the same car that he won with here in October. And what's phenomenal about the 88 team and Dale Jarrett, they have not finished out of the top 10 but once since 1995.
Jeff Hammond.
Mike. Yeah, Mike, on that restart, if you notice, Jeremy Mayfield fell back through the fields. What happened was either he got some moisture or air somewhere in the clutch line. The clutch didn't work properly, so therefore he had a bad shift, and a lot of cars, about 5 of them, got by him.
Dick Berggren.
Tony Stewart took a wild upside-down ride at Daytona Speedway last weekend. He said that after the race yesterday, when he only ran 51 laps, he was absolutely dog-tired. The things that are troubling him, a sore neck muscle, and also the lower portion of his back. He says he's going to make it all day. I wonder. Mike?
You ride with Stewart.
Boy, there's a gaggle of cars right here.
Compton, almost.
Well, Compton's causing that bottleneck. He's just not very fast, and these guys are running up on him. He's taking away either the inside or outside line, wherever he is, and it's backing everybody up. And guys are a little bit impatient. That guy in that 2 car gets real impatient.
And watch 32 there, Ricky Craven. That was the driver who gained the most positions during our 50 laps yesterday. He started back about 41st. He's currently running 20th in the 32.
He has a very good race car. Watch him get off into turn 3 there, and he's got a very good car.
Looking back at Craven from Rusty Wallace, a 5-time winner here.
Boy, it doesn't take them long to start. Look how high they're starting to get up. Get way up against that wall already.
And we'll see this all day long. Cars will work good at the bottom, then they'll search around at the top. A little bit of rubber gets down, cars will start ripping, and they'll start making up a lot of time at the top of the racetrack.
Rusty's at the bottom, and look at the 32 car all the way up around the top.
Even the drivers up toward the front of the pack are beginning to find the higher groove. Bobby Labonte and Jeff Burton are up there. Here's your leader, Jeff Gordon. Right behind him, Steve Park. Now, they're right on the bottom of the racetrack. Behind him, Park on the bottom, and also the 3rd place car running right around the bottom. That is Tony Stewart. But the 2 cars behind them, Jeff Burton and Bobby Labonte have been trying a much higher line. See how Stewart's right on the bottom there.
Well, there's no question that you want to run the bottom. I mean, that's where you want to be. Everything is dictated by how your car's driving. Will it run the bottom, and can you hold it down and make time?
Now look at Burton and Labonte. They're at least a groove off the bottom of the racetrack.
Brother Michael, he's all the way at the top of the racetrack already in the 15 car.
He'll have the back bumper wore off that thing, leaning it up against that wall.
Let's go to pit road.
Mike, Bobby Labonte just radioed into crew chief Jimmy Maycar and said, this car is tight, and it's tight everywhere. It's tight going in, tight in the middle, and it's tight coming off.
Again, just to reference tight, what that means is when he's turning the steering wheel, the front wheels aren't biting. They're not turning, and the only way you can get it to turn is slow the speed of the car down.
You either got to slow down, or else you got to take a bigger circle, make a bigger circle so that the car can have more room to turn, and that's when you start running up higher.
It seems to be working for Jeff Burton and Bobby Labonte because Michael Waltrip's closing in. Waltrip passed Johnny Benson there, that car right behind the number 15. Benson was running the bottom of the racetrack. Michael went past, and now Benson's moved up a groove.
Well, let me show you what tight is. As you go down in a corner, when the car is tight, you want to watch your hand position. And when the car is tight, you'll be oversteering or turning the car more and more and more to the left, and the front of the car will be pushing up toward the outside wall. And if you look at the hand position, that tells you that he's got that thing cranked way around to the left, and that means he's having to put a lot of input into the steering to get the car to turn the corner.
And a lot of time at Rockingham, Darrell, what'll happen, the car will be tight, won't be turning, and then eventually, see how he's turning more and more to the left? And what'll happen is, because the front wheels finally bite, it'll actually get loose. The tail end will want to come around getting off the corner.
And drivers, it's a hand-eye thing. And when your hands are not where they're supposed to be, you know where you want those hands to be to go through the corner. And when you don't have them where they're supposed to be, you're going to be one unhappy driver calling in that crew chief telling him, you got to do something.
Ward Burton moving up by working right down against the track apron. Dick Berggren.
He doesn't have a lot of choice about where to run, Mike. His car is very tight. Really, all that yesterday, Ward Burton wound up in the back of the pack with a very good race car because of a pit stop miscue. They failed to tighten all the lug nuts on the front of the car. As a result, he wound up all the way in the back. To Matt.
Dick, this is actually a backup car for Michael Waltrip. He crashed his primary car in practice before qualifying on Saturday. This car had never seen a racetrack until happy hour before he missed qualifying. Then happy hour, they got a lot of track time. This car, though, is set up for long, long runs. Scott Eagleson told me if they get into some short sprints, they're going to be in trouble. But on long runs, look out.
Buddy, let me tell you, he's got that thing up in that high groove, and he got around Benson. Benson's trying to stay with him, and he's closing in on Bobby Labonte in a big kind of way. So that high groove is definitely working.
Lead change. Steve Park, as he did on Sunday, has driven underneath Jeff Gordon and into the lead.
Well, Jeff will change his line now. See, he'll move up the top. Spotter's been probably calling him, telling him, when you can get up high, that seems to be working for a lot of guys.
It's definitely. I mean, they'll cue off what they see other guys doing. If they look like they're making time up high, they'll move up high.
Boy, it's some heavy, heavy racing going on all over this racetrack right now.
But now look at Steve Park. Park continues to run the bottom as Gordon climbs the hill behind him, and Tony Stewart, third-place car, stays on the bottom.
I think Stewart's just kind of riding at a pace right now that he's comfortable personally with. I don't know about his car. I think he's probably going to exert himself too much until those sore muscles loosen up a little bit.
One of the best things you can do at Rockingham, and as a crew chief, I always hammered on that driver, take it easy the first 10 or 12 laps on these tires. It will be better life for them at the end of a run.
Yeah,
unscheduled pit stop, Darrell. Matt Kenseth has come to pit road.
It's hot. The car is hot. You can see the steam coming out of the overflow tube right here above the right front fender. Thing's running hot.
Matt?
17 car is on pit road. You can see the steam rising out from the overflow above the windshield. He did call in that he had temperature up on the water. It looks like there may be a bag on the grill that created the overheating conditions.
And they'll have to cool that thing down because he probably blew a bunch of, well, they got a bag. They pulled that off. And
what this guy's doing right here, there's a quick fill, a quick water fill, and he's shooting water back into it because you don't want to take the radiator cap off just like your passenger car. It'll blow hot water everywhere, so they have a quick disconnect. All right, look at there it is, right there. And it's just like blocking that front end with tape, and no air will go through. So they had to get the bag off and cool it back down with cold water.
We're told that might have come off of Mike Wallace's car.
What that probably was you know how we put the 200-mile-an-hour tape, the gray tape, all
that's
in a big strip? I bet that's a big patch of it, and it came off and got right on his grill.
And one reason it may have come off, in wet conditions like yesterday, if they didn't replace it this morning, then it can come off real easy.
Steve Park, who got caught up at that big wreck at Daytona and denied a Dale Earnhardt Inc. 1-2-3 finish in the 500, leads here at Rockingham. You're watching NASCAR on FX.
And now for something uniquely different from Dodge. The Dodge Durango. For power, room, payload, and towing, Durango is just right. And now with low 0.9 financing on Durango, you'll find this difference may actually be even better. Dodge Durango. Different.
Briefcase.
Need new tires? Our 35,000-mile tires are 4 for just 99 bucks. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
Whirlpool Gold, Even Cook, Easy Touch and Almond, Maytag Gemini, Frigidaire Speed Bake. That's all 250 of them.
What was that 12th one again?
All the name brand at a guaranteed low price. Lowe, improving home improvement.
Come to the fence department. Pick up an aisle 2.
See an appliance today? Take it home today. Why buy anywhere else? Lowe's, improving home improvement.
She just doesn't understand me.
What's to understand? What is that, Michael?
Is that what you think I sound like?
Mr. Doyle, do you use a cellular phone? What's come between you two is static. Here, Sprint PCS built the only all-digital, all-PCS nationwide network, so your calls are clear.
Thank you.
Sprint PCS, 1,200 minutes, all with nationwide long distance.
El Camino.
He has 3 days to find the gun.
This is Mexican. He's cursed that gun.
Save his girl.
Where's your car?
Sam?
Cherry honey.
Stay alive. Stop that! And learn Spanish.
I need a lift in your El Truco to the next towno.
Brad Pitt.
This time, I win.
Julia Roberts.
Oh, really?
The Mexican. Rated R. Starts this Friday.
Steve Park is leading here at Rockingham on FX. Stacy Compton, who you remember was leading when we dropped the green flag and who last pitted at lap 29, has now come for tires.
And he was about 1 second in 30 laps from being lapped. And we don't mean to wear the word out today, tires, but tires is Rockingham. Fresh tires, there is no substitute for them.
He paid a high price for his TV time.
So Compton goes at least, well, he now goes 2 laps down. He was about to be lapped, so he lost a lap coming in, and now he's lost a lap with the pit stop and exiting. Steve Park, one of those 3 Dale Earnhardt Incorporated cars that ran up front at the Daytona 500, and you saw him a week ago Sunday on Fox pounding the roof in frustration because he had high hopes of a 1-2-3 finish.
He really did, and they had it set up to do, and it just didn't work out. But right now, just to give you an idea, Mike, Park is running around here about 25.8 seconds. They qualified it at 23.4 seconds, almost 2.5 seconds slower than what the qualifying speeds were. That's all directly related to tires and race conditions.
Now they've lapped Buckshot Jones and Jason Leffler on the track. They lapped Matt Kenseth on pit road.
Yeah, he's caught up to the back of the field now, Park has, and he's putting a lot of people a lap down early on.
Remember, we restarted today with 51 laps already completed from Sunday.
These guys right here, they have been racing. Ever since they dropped the green flag, it seems like Michael's low and Bobby will be, Michael's high, Bobby will be low a while, and then they'll swap back and forth, but they can't get away from each other.
Yeah, Michael's going to drive about 420 miles. It's still going to be 393 laps.
Nobody's going to pass him on the outside, I promise you, going through the corner.
Look at the difference in lines here. Labonte low, Waltrip high, And now Dale Jarrett continues to bring Ricky Craven. And right behind them, that yellow car, Robert Presley, restarted 32nd. He's found the high groove and fought his way up to 17th. Good run.
I'm impressed with Ricky Craven, too, guys. I mean, his car is awesome.
Yeah, Craven had to take a provisional. Started this race 41st yesterday.
But he's really good right through the center of the corner, up high.
Jeff?
Yeah, Mike, I just got through speaking with Mike Beam about the 32 car, and he had a big smile on his face. He said his car was a little bit tight, but Ricky was actually pacing himself, trying to make the car work for the duration of this run. They seem very confident down here in the tire pit.
They just went around Dale Jarrett. Made that look pretty easy.
When you pass Dale Jarrett at Rockingham,
no, yeah, watch him in the center of the well. We got off on somebody, but right through the center of the corner is where he's really fast.
Michael Waltrip has gone past Bobby Labonte, and that's a change of 5th place.
I think Bobby got tired of, man, get up here in front of me a while. I'm tired of you following me.
You know, you look at Michael, Darrell, you and I was talking about it the other day, you know, and somebody said last week put confidence in him. I said, Darrell, I think last September, October, he signed that contract with DEI. That's what put confidence in him.
Yeah, he's in his one car. For, you know, when I was in the one car, it worked for me, and I was close to winning a couple of races. This is his one car.
Ward Burton battling Mike Skinner. This is back at 26th place as Burton continues to move up through the field. Dick Berggren.
Ward Burton led 100 laps in this race last year, but today he surely is having his problems. He has called into the crew and told them that the car is pushing badly, and he thinks potentially he has a right front tire going down. You may think that just because the thing is pushing so badly. Crew Chief Tommy Baldwin says no tire problems. Spot, you know, Tommy Baldwin. and that's a tough decision on the crew chief. You're thinking to yourself, well, what's making it push, not turn? Is it a tire going down? Do I need to make adjustments? Will it over-adjust? So it's a tough decision on his shoulder.
Well, again, what put him in this position was Tommy had a left front tire changer problem on the caution flag pit stop yesterday.
Whoa, look at this getting close down there. That's Jeremy Mayfield, 12, Brett Bodine in the 11 car.
He ran in there real hard, and the 43 checked up, and Jeremy didn't have anywhere to go.
Now, Brett started 9th. He's now running 25th.
But the right front tire, I mean, the track's abrasive, had no rubber on it, and I'm telling you, and the cars are tight, they're going to grind that right front tire off these things early on.
Robbie Gordon loose there, battling Schrader and Nemechek. Now watch the 14, the green car of Hornaday.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa! Just getting it straightened up.
That's what caused these guys here to bottleneck up. Everybody had to get up out of the throttle.
John Andretti in that blue 43 car, he's hunting the high line. More and more cars. We're seeing about 75% of the field run at the top of the racetrack.
I don't think I've ever seen this many cars running high. You always see a number of them, but I don't think I've ever seen this many cars using this much racetrack.
Steve Park now in heavy traffic. He and Gordon about to lap Gordon's Hendrick Racing teammate, Terry Labonte. Let's go to Steve.
Well, guys, Steve Park's spotter is a guy named Stevie Reeves who began racing open wheel cars and has a lot of starts in the Busch Series. He's not only calling traffic as Jeff Gordon makes a move, but he's also telling him where the other cars are running. For example, he told him that Michael Waltrip is running the high side. So spotting traffic, but also telling him where other cars are running on the racetrack.
Steve Reeves says he'd like to get back in Buschkin National Racing, but unless a good ride opens up, he won't take a bad one.
Boy, this is a place where a leader really gets to, you can get so frustrated. You're faster than these guys, but there's no place to pass.
You see the 17 car just drove by Steve Park. Now remember, here again, fresh tires. He was on pit road just about 15 laps ago, and he's 3 laps down. He just made one of those laps up, but that just shows you again how important fresh tires are.
And you know that Steve Reeves is telling Steve Park, follow that 17 car. He's on fresh tires. He'll bust you a path through these guys.
And not only that, I mean, you're sitting there, and you got to be careful as the leader. You got a fast car. You're coming up to lap these guys, but these guys are trying to stay on the lead lap, and they're going to drive harder right now than they've been driving all day, trying to stay on that lead lap.
Coming up on Robbie Gordon and then Ken Schrader. And now Leffler has, Kenseth has driven away from Steve Park. Look at Matt Kenseth's last lap speed, 2 miles an hour faster than Steve Park. New tires.
And sometimes being off sync at Rockingham on pit stop, it can work to your advantage because of, fresh tires versus old tires.
Michael Waltrip has passed Tony Stewart for 3rd.
If he don't knock the fence down, he's going to get the lead. He's closing in on these cats pretty quickly. But, man, right in the middle of 3 and 4, he's just about got the thing rubbing the wall.
Up in the Harry Gant groove.
I believe he's a groove up. I think he's a groove above that.
I think he is. I think you're right. There's the interval from leader Steve Park back to a fast-closing teammate, Michael Waltrip. 292 laps to go here at Rockingham. Steve Park, the race leader. Jeff Gordon, Michael Waltrip. And now Bobby Labonte has passed Tony Stewart for fourth. You're watching NASCAR on FX.
This is the kind of shoot that can make history.
It was a military exercise that went wrong. It was a Navy cover-up.
What happened in that gun turret?
That only one man had the power to stop. James Caan.
This goes way beyond disloyalty. You're the captain of the island. What you say will carry more weight than anything.
A glimpse of hell based on a true story. Premieres Sunday, March 18th on FX.
I definitely feel like there's a new breed of driver coming up in NASCAR. We're here at Concord Motor Speedway. This is where I got my start. It's the first time I ever drove a real race car here. An old orange Malibu. This is a piece of junk, and I bought it from Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he abused it, and I abused it. I built this car in a week with a good friend of mine. We came out here the first night just kind of going to break it in and see what we had, and we won the race for the first time out. I think everybody remembers him for his goofy smile. I've always been real happy-go-lucky and always smiling. People magazine, one of my more proud moments. You can see I'm trying to flex my arm, trying to show I'm a little, buff. And one of the sexiest athletes, Brad Pitt here's on the cover. It's given me a lot of bragging rights, and I talk a lot of trash to my friends about it. In this racing deal, you have so many ups and downs and a whole lot of downs. Anytime I've got the chance to smile or be happy, I'm going to try to be happy.
Ticket! It's an all-new season of Son of the Beach with all-new episodes that are even more bigger.
Nice shot!
Even more badder.
Look, Ma! No Viagra!
And most of all, even more Johnson.
A pleasure to meet a man with such respect in the community.
Props back at you.
Gesundheit.
The second coming of Son of the Beach has arrived.
God bless America.
All new episodes premiere Tuesday, March 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Son of the Beach, only on FX.
Busch Series Racing on FX, live from Las Vegas. If you play your cards right, you'll hit the jackpot. It's Vegas, baby. NASCAR on FX. Coverage begins with happy hour, Saturday, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific.
Next Sunday, we'll be at Las Vegas with Winston Cup Racing on Fox, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this Sunday, March 11th, in Atlanta, 12:30 Eastern Time on Fox. And then March 18th, we'll be at Darlington, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox, your new home for NASCAR. Steve Park, Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, the leader. They've had a tough time busting their way through traffic.
They have, and it's allowed Gordon. They're all three right together there while we were break, but Michael's closed up and caught these cats, and as soon as they get through this heavy traffic, I believe he possibly could go up there and take the lead. And I tell you, driving that high line, from a driver's perspective, it's exciting. It's fun. You know, everybody expects you to run around the bottom. That's where your car handles the best. When you do the high line, that means you're driving the wheels off that thing. You're using every bit of the racetrack and getting all out of that car you can. And from a driver's perspective, that's fun. It's exciting.
One more piece of traffic to clear. Here's a look at our Fox tracks that we're working on, and it's been a work in progress. You see first, second, and third pinpointed where they are on the racetrack using global positioning, satellite technology, interfaced with our Fox truck. It is a very complicated procedure. We'd hope to have it for Daytona.
Burton's in the wall.
Oh, Jeff Burton. Bounced off. It keeps going. Cannot get to pit road. He'll have to come all the way around. He's pretty well flattened the side of that car, but the tires are up.
I think he did quite a bit of damage to that car. He's really, really slow through 1 and 2, and I'm thinking he probably beat the side of that thing up pretty well. That's the downside. Look how he's really slowed down. You can see the damage on the fender here. It's all pushed in. That's a pretty hard lick.
He's definitely coming to pit road.
Here's another look at what happened to the 99 of Jeff Burton.
Well, he got loose. Yeah, he got loose before he ever got to the corner. And then he just did all he could to try to hang on to it. Actually hit it harder because he had the thing sliding sideways.
On board Ricky Rudd.
Whoa, baby.
Matt Yoakum.
The 99 car is, and this is a heartbreaker for Jeff Burton. They felt like they were the second best car to the 15 on the racetrack. They also told him to try the line that Michael Waltrip is. They were looking at the right side of the car. He wasn't sure how hard he hit, but this will be a 4-tire stop and topping him off with fuel. But a tough break for the 99 cars. They look at the car. You can see the dejected guys. They go back over the wall.
22-second pit stop for Burton, but he lost a lot of time coming around the track slowly. After he hit the wall, he could not get directly to pit road.
Well, he lost time on the racetrack by running slow. This pit road starts almost coming off turn 4 and ends going on to turn 2. And you have to run 45 miles an hour while these guys are out there running 150 miles an hour.
I tell you, that 32 car, I know Michael's up there running the high groove. He's running the high groove, and they're closing right in. 32 cars closing right in on the leaders.
Ricky Craven is up to 6th place.
And man, started so far back, so he just has an awesome race car.
Second place battle, Michael Waltrip inside of Steve Park.
Come on, partner, teammate.
Second place. Now Park somewhat mirrors Waltrip's line.
Oh, I'm telling you. Slip sliding away, baby.
Bobby Labonte, though, has closed right up on them.
Yeah, Bobby is. Bobby kind of went to school. Everybody goes to school on it. If you get past, you kind of watch what the guy did, and then you try to emulate that as you go along, and that's what Bobby's done. He's moved up, and he's running a little higher and making better time, too.
They have a big gap back to 5th place Ricky Rudd and then 6th place Craven.
Man, it's like the old days. We used to come here back in the old days, and we'd smoke the tires, slide them cars in the corner, have that back end hung out, clicking that bumper along the wall, running right up next to it. That's the way it was back when
were the old days, Darrell?
Well, that's when me and Richard, Dave, Cale, Buddy, Bobby, Don, all of us. Well, hadn't been that long ago.
Look at Craven. He's picked up 35 positions from the start of this race. Robert Presley, a 19-spot gain. Rusty Wallace, who had his worst qualifying run ever here, has picked up 17 spots. So has Kevin Harvick. Marlin, Skinner, Strickland, Hamilton, Blaney, and Elliott Sadler among the big movers forward in this race. Buckshot Jones has just made a pit stop in the Petty Dodge.
Let's talk about pit stops and strategy. They've run about 60 laps on these tires since we restarted on lap 55. Now, they can run 90 laps on fuel, but nobody, I don't think, will try to go that. I'm going to say it won't be long before we see some green flag stops, and it's monkey see, monkey do. One of the leaders come in, you can't be far behind him and give up that time on fresh tires.
Saturday in the Busch race, we did see, now those cars are 100 pounds lighter, but we did see one driver go 104 laps.
Well, I'm not going to argue with my crew chief. He tells me to pit, I'm going to pit. But as long as I'm making pretty decent time and I'm not just dead stop, I'm going to ride her until she runs out of gas.
Bobby Labonte tracking Steve Park. That is now 3rd and 4th place behind Jeff Gordon.
Let go of me, Larry. That's just what I would do.
I bet if I offer you 4 times, turn him down.
Fellas, leave the beating and banging to the racetrack, will you?
He's over there shaking his head. I said, well, I just, you know. Now, if I was real bad loose, I'd be wanting to come on in. Yeah, watch these the 2 cars here. Look how much faster Bobby Labonte is. And
now that's the interval, one to the other. 0.3 of a second back.
I didn't think he was going 315 mile an hour.
No. Closed it down to 0.28 of a second back from Steve Park. We're experimenting with this, folks.
And I think definitely what's happened here, I don't think necessarily Bobby Labonte's car's got that much better. Steve Park's car is starting to go away. It's not handling near as good as it was, say, 20 laps ago.
I think he overcooked his grits when he was trying to keep Michael behind him.
That's a technical term, folks.
Yeah.
Casey Atwood is on pit road, so is Todd Bodine, making their first stops of the day under green. First stops of Monday, that is. We're at 122 laps.
A lot of these cars pitting are cars that was on the verge of going a lap down, already lapped down. Their hope is get the fresh tires, get that extra time. Here's Bobby Labonte all the way at the bottom of the racetrack going underneath Steve Park. This is, again, the battle for 3rd, and he gets the position.
Bobby's car still works very well around the bottom of the racetrack. Yeah, he thanked him for gave him a little wave, said, thank you, bud, for not racing me. This is no time to be doing that.
And Bobby's a big picture racer. You won't see him take a lot of chances on the track early in the race. Remember, he was one of only 2 drivers last year, Dale Earnhardt Sr. the other, who ran the entire Winston Cup season without a did not finish.
Well, there's guys that I wish I had their demeanor, and I wish I could control myself like some guys can. And if I could do it, I'd do it like Bobby Labonte does. He is one cool cat, and he just kind of keeps himself under control, keeps focused. Big picture, just like you said.
Here's the fifth place car of Ricky Rudd.
But you know, Darrell, here, and it was sometimes hard to do this early in the race, but I'd tell my driver, if a car catches you that fast, there's a reason. He's better than you are.
That's right.
Let him go.
That's
Don't use your stuff up.
Yeah.
Ken Schrader is in, so is Rick Mast and Mike Skinner. Matt?
36 car into his pit box. 3 rounds of wedge in the 36. They clean off the grill, 4 tires, and he's down and away.
So green flag pit stops continue, and they will shuffle the field here somewhat.
Darrell, 3 rounds of fight. That means they put that wedge in. He was pretty loose.
That's well over 1% of additional wedge added to that car, and that's a lot.
And that's changing the wheel weights of the car, make the car tighter. Put
Park's
weight
on
on the
pit
right
road.
front and left rear.
Park's on pit road.
Steve Park along with Robbie Gordon and Ricky Craven. Jeff?
That's right. Ricky Craven's in, and his crew go to work, change the right side tires. Don't see any chance adjustments yet. And like I said, he was coming through the field pretty good. He must be happy with his car because I see no adjustments. A little trouble with the jack man on the left side. And Ricky Craven's down and away. Back to you, Steve Burns. Steve Park, right side tires are already on. They did make a chassis adjustment to the right corner of the car. Left side tires are on. Steve Park is away.
Sterling Marlin is in, so is Jimmy Spencer, Rusty Wallace, and Elliott Sadler. And Ward Burton.
Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Michael Waltrip, they've got to get in here soon because 2 of the top 6 cars have already committed.
Here's Gordon on pit road now.
Oh, and he and Hornaday collide. Kurt Busch is also in. Matt?
40 car also in, making an adjustment with the wedge wrench already around the left side. 4 tires to call for just about everybody down here because tire wear. It's old Rockingham just doing things up. Ron Hornaday also on pit road, as is the blue deuce of Rusty Wallace, the Dick Bergeron.
Jeff Gordon getting ready to come in and make his pit stop. Here he comes to the attention of his crew. Again on the front tires. The big guy on the jack is Chris Anderson. He benches over 400 pounds. Shane Church on the rear tires. Jeff Craven is your gas man. These guys are among the very best in the business. One can in, the toss back. They're waiting for the rear tire. Off he goes to Matt.
The best car over that last run was Michael Walsh with the 15 car. He did not want to make any adjustments at all. He said the car is perfect. Just 4 tires of fuel. He tries to win back-to-back races, and he's down and away. So Steve Burns. Well, Matt, Bobby Labonte's in. Remember, he's been complaining about tight all morning. What they're going to do is lower air pressure on the left side tires of that number 18 Pontiac to help deal with that condition. Here comes Bobby Labonte sliding in. Jeff Taylor on the front tires. Barry Cook on the rear tires. The jack man is Jason Lee. They come around to the left side. Good stop on the right. No chassis adjustments. Remember, just air pressure in the left side tires. Left side are done, and he's gone. Let's go to Dick Bergeron.
Here's Tony Stewart in for his pit stop. Stewart's car has been anything but running well today. He's having a hard time just hanging on to this thing. He was very anxious to make a pit stop. Mike Lingerfeld is the guy on the front tires. He's the guy who broke his leg last year at Daytona doing this job, and he's out of here.
Ricky Rudd has assumed the lead, and he now comes on to pit road and makes that long drive down toward turn 1 at 45 miles an hour where Dick Bergeron's waiting on him.
And Ricky Rudd on his way down pit road. He had an electrical problem yesterday. They just basically have turned off his helmet air conditioning system to resolve that problem. Rudd comes sliding to a stop. Nice stop, stopped right on the marks. Crew now going to work on that race car. He is not running as well right now as he had been yesterday. They're going to try to adjust that car a tad for him. Good stop so far, exchanging the can. Ricky Rudd, last man to finish. Rear tire changing. There he goes.
During this sequence of green flag pit stops, Michael Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, and Ricky Rudd each led this race. And a lap ago, Kurt Busch bounced off the wall between turns 1 and 2.
I just going to tell you, the whole right side of his car is banged in.
For the lead now, we're back to Steve Park and Jeff Gordon fighting for the lead.
And I think Park wore his tires out a little quicker than Gordon did, and Gordon was able to get by him. But I think on fresh tires that Steve's got a faster car.
For Gordon, the 24 car, he got trapped behind. Brett Bodine in the 11 car allowed Steve Park to keep that lead. Now he's going to pull it to the bottom through 3 and 4.
Kurt Busch is on pit road. You can see the right side is pancaked.
Pancake?
Yep, pancaked it against that wall.
Oh, he pancaked.
Yeah, it's another technical term.
Yeah.
Dick?
Now Kurt Busch comes to a stop. The nose of the car is also damaged. That happened yesterday very early on in the race when he had contact with Michael Waltrip. This will be a long stop because in addition to changing the tires, they are trying to pull the sheet metal out from the car. Finally, the right sides are done. No jack on the left side. Gets slow on the jack coming around. This is going to be a long stop. It will hurt him tremendously in terms of track position. Kurt Busch gone.
That's a derelict pancake there, as flat as us.
I thought maybe it was early morning start and he was still eating their breakfast or something. Oh, whoa, look at that.
Yeah, that was when Ron Hornaday kept Jeff Gordon way out to the outside.
Yeah, look at Gordon. He's all the way out against the wall, and Hornaday ain't giving him any room to get over.
Well, there were already cars on pit road, and Hornaday might have feared one of them pull out, so he was as far to the right as possible.
I think he was just trying to add a degree of difficulty to Jeff Gordon's pit stop myself.
And he did. All right, we've cycled through green flag pit stops, and now Steve Park and Jeff Gordon are the front runners, with Michael Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, and Ricky Craven 1 through 5, just about where we were before green flag pit stops. We'll be right back.
Relax. Nothing's wrong with your TV. It's just fine. But something's coming that will change the way you look at TV forever. That will let you see the future, shift time, be in 2 places at once. Better hold on to your bean dip. Ultimate TV.
Philips digital widescreen. Now you can see what you've been missing.
We don't know which one you'll want, what color you'll want, or even what accessories you'll want. But we do know that now is the time to buy a new Kawasaki Vulcan Cruiser. Right now, during our Kawasaki Good Times giveaway, we'll give you $500 in accessories or 0 down and a low APR when you pick up any new Vulcan 1500 Classic, Drifter, Nomad, or 800 Classic. And you should hurry in, because the only other thing we know is a deal this good isn't going to last forever.
So, Dale, I just want to tell you how excited we are to have you be a part of UPS Racing.
Excited to be here. So let's go take a look at your new ride.
It's a truck.
Yeah, the big brown truck. What about that? Oh, that? It's just a PR tool. You'll be driving the big brown truck. Now, you cross the finish line in the big brown truck, and there won't be a dry eye in the house.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming.
I'm coming a bunch. The second coming of Son of the Beach premieres Tuesday, March 13th, only on FX.
Winston Cup Racing from Rockingham on Fox is brought to you by UPS, the official delivery company of NASCAR. We want to race the truck. People love the truck.
Welcome back to the North Carolina Speedway, where number 6, Mark Martin, has gotten a lap back from race leader Steve Park. He fought hard to do it.
He did. That's something you won't see at Rockingham. As we know, this used to be called Markingham.
Yeah.
And to see him going a lap down here before lap 150, you know, you saw him get real loose off turn 2 right there. But he's driving the wheels off that thing, just trying to survive. Stay on the lead lap, hoping a caution comes.
One thing about Mark Martin, he's going to run the bottom of this racetrack. He'll be the last guy to move up off the bottom. Even if it's got oil on the bottom, he's going to try to run the bottom. And today, that just may not be the way to go early on.
Robert Presley having a strong run in 77, and Kevin Harvick in his Winston Cup debut. also having a strong run. Now, we were incorrect Saturday. I was about Harvick's plans for the Busch Series. I said he would run all the weekends where Busch was companion to Winston Cup, and that's half the story. He's going to continue to try to run all the Busch Series races and contend for that championship. So there's going to be an awful lot of late-night plane flights where those cars race with Winston Cup in different tracks on the same weekend.
I want you to explain this pancake deal now.
Well,
show me what she's talking about.
I'm going to show it to you right here.
Show me.
Okay. Here he comes riding off into the corner.
Yeah.
Whammo.
That's a pancake?
Pancakes it.
Racetrack just wasn't wide enough.
No, that's all.
You sure it wasn't a waffle?
Wall got in his way. No, the wheel is a waffle.
Oh, there's the waffle.
Dick?
Well, this is your waffle wheel right here that came off the right side of Kurt Busch's car. Look at this. This is wall that he has got stuck between the wheel and the tire itself. The actual rim itself is bent down in. It's amazing this thing held air long enough for him to get back in the pits.
All right, one thing I want to explain right here that we can talk about right here. You see two valve stems on this. Why has it got two valve stems? This one is what the outer air pressure is. We talk about at speedways, these tires have a tire within a tire, the inner liner. That's what that pressure is put in with. And it's just if you have a tire go down, you've got a little extra insurance there with the inner liner. It's just one of the safety devices Goodyear uses, Matt Yoakum.
And the 99 car of Jeff Burton hit the wall earlier. Frank, you look at the car. What's the damage?
Well, I'd say we knocked the toe out pretty bad. Right front had the wheel bent a little bit. Might have been a ball joint or something. We're trying to wait it out for a caution here if we can, you know, to fix the toe, see if we can get back into it. I mean, our day's over to try to win this thing for sure. The Sitco Super Guy teams are working hard to just get in a little bit there. Jeff thinks he might have got in a little bit of oil. The tire was a little bit soft. Had lost all its air pressure, but really not sure what happened.
Tough break for the Fall 99 winner, Steve Burns.
Hey, Matt, this is the right front tire that just came off of Steve Park's car. After every stop, these guys swarm over these tires and they check three things: tire pressure, tire temperature, and tread depth. Now, across this tire are these numbers: 2 1/4, 2 5/8, 3, 3, and 3, and that's where they measure the tread depth. So, Larry McReynolds, you have some more explaining to do.
Well, again, they'll check this on all 4 tires that come off the car. And these are check codes. Of course, these are slick tires, and they have this little hole. You can see what the tire is when it's new. And this will give them information about today, but it's also information they'll use for the future. You can't adjust the camber to how much the front tires is leaned in, and that tells you a lot about that. But it'll tell you which tire you're wearing out the most. If you're wearing out the right front, that means the car is too tight. The front end's not turning. You wear out the right rear, that means the car's loose, and the rear end's coming around on it. So there's a lot of information you can get from that that'll help you today make adjustments, but also for the future.
Like next week, where they'll run this same tire at Las Vegas. Folks, we're going to give you a chance to hear the sounds of Rockingham. A little different than what we heard at Daytona 1 week ago. We'll let the pictures tell the story, and you can crank your surround sound up. Laps to go in the Dura Loop 400 at Rockingham. Stacy Compton, who is off cycle or out of sequence with the rest of these teams, has just made another pit stop under green.
That sound before today, that little, and he's pedaling that thing, trying to get it to hook up, come up off the corner.
Pancaking, pedaling.
And there's 2 things you have to drive a car with at Rockingham: the steering wheel and the throttle pedal.
Right. That's exactly right. I tell you, a fast car, boys, is that 32 car. I've been watching him. I've been clocking him. He's a little quicker than the leaders. He's back there. He's at the line right now, and he's coming on the lead fast.
He's got something the leaders don't have to deal with right now. He has no lap traffic. He's got free racetrack in front of him.
Ricky Craven started 41st. By the 95th lap, he was up to 12th. The 114th lap to 6th. 20 laps later, he was in 5th, and now he's in 4th place.
And his car, I like his car better than I did like even Michael's. He's running the high line, but it looks like he's driving the car around the turn. Michael was sliding his car around the corner. Ricky Craven looks to me like he is controlling the way his car goes around the corner.
Craven's last top 5 finish was back in 1997. Remember, he's been off the circuit due to injuries for quite some time. 156 laps in. 236 to go. You're watching NASCAR on FX.
Okay, sweetie, on your toes. Swing through the ball, through it. Eye on the ball, hon. We're working on the forehand. Okay, let's try backhand. We'll work backhand. Okay, you just need to connect with the ball. Let's stay in the game, sweetheart. Now, don't be afraid to charge the net.
How do you plan on financing your retirement? Conseco's annuities have tax advantages that can help. Conseco, step up.
No mess is too big for this baby. Perfect for your biggest problem areas.
But a vacuum.
Yes! Missed a spot.
Did you lift your feet up? It works. Spring cleaning. All it takes is the right equipment and your Visa card. It's every way you want it.
4 identical cars. 4 identical engines. Only one running on new Haviland, our latest triumph in Haviland motor oil technology. And what difference does that make? Not only do you get unsurpassed performance, but tests show that with new Haviland under the hood, you get better gas mileage. Haviland. Add more life to your car.
I can get,
More masking tape.
more concrete.
More plaster.
More of these. I need more tools.
More lawn.
More of this? More of that? Maybe I can get 3 more feet.
I need a lot more tools. When I go to Home Depot, I can save money. And I can get more stuff.
A lot more than I would have expected.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is why I go to Home Depot first.
The Home Depot, first in home improvement.
Oh, baby, Tough Man brings out its best as we revisit LT's historic fight. The Best of Tough Man 2001, Friday at 10 on FX.
Welcome back to NASCAR on FX. Jeff Gordon and Steve Park have been battling back and forth for the lead while trying to lap past Mike Skinner now. And Skinner is working hard to stay on the lead lap. Let's show you how the lead changed hands.
Well, pretty obvious. One's high and one's low. Okay. And Jeff was really low. He had the left side tires down below the line, and that's a fast place to be if the car will handle down there.
Our entire Winston Cup coverage from Rockingham will replay tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and Pacific on FX.
All right, we can go home and watch this. We never get to watch.
That's right. Jeff?
Yeah, Mike, a little while earlier, you guys were talking about the tires and the guys taking the temperatures and the tread depth. If you notice down here in the 88 car, Brad Parrott and his crew are already transferring the information into the computer. We've actually reached the computer age to where these guys are not just using notepads or charts. They're transferring everything into a computer as the race progresses. Todd Parrott has already been talking to Brad Parrott about some of the problems that the 88 cars are having today. Car not turning the middle of the corner. They're looking at mix and matches and combinations here to get the car back where it can run on the bottom. Matt?
Michael Waltrip in the 15 car started the fade. They didn't make any changes on that last pit stop. Michael just not liking this set of tires versus the previous set. But the biggest thing, Scott Eagleson told me Michael lost his rhythm. So Scott tried to calm him down, just told him, get back into your rhythm and you'll be all right.
Also, Bobby Labonte has passed Steve Park. That's for second place.
One of the things that used to aggravate me the most is when that spotter would say, all right, get back in your rhythm now, get back in your rhythm. There'd be cars everywhere, and you're trying to pass people, and you can't just drive the same line all the time. But I know what he's talking about, because let me tell you why, Mike. When you get up high, up there against that wall like that, it takes total focus and concentration. And as you go along, you get a little tireder. In other words, you wear down a little bit, and you can't concentrate quite as well, and that high line gets a little treacherous. We haven't run that long, but I tell you, it's a delicate line that you run when you're up high like that. Delicate. Drivers are very delicate people.
You know, I heard him say they didn't make any changes on Michael's car. Another thing could be happening. Now we've done run about 100 or so laps on this racetrack. This racetrack is changing. More rubber's getting laid down. It's getting slicker and greasier. So even though you don't make changes, the car will change. This is where a good combination, good adjustments, keeping up with the racetrack, we call it, that's the car that'll go to victory lane.
Yeah, and the good thing about it, Larry, and I love to hear you say that, you got to be tightening up all the time.
Here's the pass for second place. And again, Steve Park up high. Bobby Labonte goes downstairs.
And the downstairs, the lower groove, later on in this race, you see a lot of cars go back down there and start running that as they get their cars adjusted so they can. But, Larry, you're right about it. You got to always be thinking about tightening up. Track gets slicker.
Kenny Wallace is back in the race. Remember, this is the first lap that he has completed.
Oh, Hot Rod don't look too bad.
Nope. Now, again, this was a car that was damaged on the lap 1 crash yesterday, but Wallace's team gathered last night, figured there'd be a lot of cautions in this race, and if they can maintain a minimum speed, they can move up, pick up enough points that'll hopefully put them in good stead once this year's championship points begin being used if they need a provisional spot.
You never know at the end of the year what doing that will do for you. It could 2 or 3 spots here could make a huge difference in where you finish at the end of the year. So even though it's a long way off, like Larry said, got to think big picture.
Well, here's a car that's on the move, that 10 car, Johnny Benson. He just passed Ricky Rudd for 7th. He's been working that bottom, and Rudd's like he's up in the high groove, and his car's not biting up there. He's lost 2 positions just in the last 2 or 3 laps.
That's what's wrong with Michael's car, too. It's just not got that bite in it that it had early on.
Jeff Burton, whose car was damaged earlier in a brush with the wall, is in. Matt's there.
A tough start to the season for Jeff Burton. They've raised the hood. They're going to check the toe. Frank Stoddard said earlier they feel like the car has messed up the toe when he hit the wall. A tough break, losing a lot of race time on the racetrack as they check the toe, trying to fix this very, very ill-handling race car.
Now, what you see him doing here, you see a guy in the hood, this guy right here. What he's doing, he's loosening the tie rod. And then you've got a guy on the other side that's holding the string, and they're looking at the distance of the tire to the string, and they're adjusting the distance of the front wheels. We run about an 1/8 inch of toe out between the front of the wheels. Is an 1/8 wider than the rear. That gives the car stability through the front. See here, you see this guy's holding the string, this guy, and they're talking to it. And Jeff Hammond, is that what you see going on?
Yes, I do, Larry. And one thing we might add here, the reason why they decided to do this is I'm sure that Frank and Jeff Burton have been conversing and saying, hey, I'm eating this right front tire off this car, and if we don't fix it, I'm going to blow it out and I'm going to knock the wall down. And there again, they're doing this as a defensive move, so they won't have to worry about having a problem. They could possibly lose some points here today.
All this high-tech stuff, computers and everything, and what do? You set the toe with a string. And like I always told my guys, the tallest buildings in the world are built off a string.
And we've heard he did shut the car off, and again, the toe out way in or way out, it can also really wear the tires out because the tires are actually dragging across the asphalt.
Bobby Labonte now has caught Jeff Gordon, the race leader. They just put Jeremy Mayfield a lap down.
He didn't give up easy, though. Jeremy didn't. He worked them over pretty good. They finally got around him.
Now trying to pass Matt Kenseth. Remember, Kenseth made an unscheduled pit stop, and he is 3 laps down.
I believe that 32 car has got a little bit of extra strength stuff in that car today. That thing is moving. He's got the best looking car on the racetrack. He is driving that car.
Look at how he's moved up. Remember, he started 41st. And it's come to 4th.
The car is not sliding. It's not sliding up there and using the wall to turn it. He's driving that thing up off her. He's getting a great bite off the corner. He's wiggling a little bit there, but that's not unusual for coming off the turn 2 over there.
He's battling the 19 of 20-year-old rookie Casey Atwood, who is 1 lap down. Go back and pick up 10th and 11th place, the 88 of Dale Jarrett, the 20 of Tony Stewart.
This could be another case of the track changing. Tony Stewart, you know, he was up there battling for 3rd and 4th. Now he's falling back to 11th.
I believe Tony may be taking it easy. I don't think he's working that hard right now.
got past Jarrett there 1 lap ago by sticking it on the bottom.
And look how, you talk about on the bottom, we talk about how high these guys are up against the wall. He had their left side tires down below the white line. That's usually the sign your car handles very, very good when you can drive it off the corner like that.
Up front, Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte keeping very close contact as they try to put a lap on Jimmy Spencer.
And look at that.
Now Spencer is 2 laps down. Remember, he was involved in that first lap crash.
See the momentum you get, how much more straightaway speed you've got using that high line. You can really get a lot of momentum when you come off the corner, where down low you can have the car a little bit more bogged down.
The car loses more RPMs on the bottom, and you can keep that RPM range up when you're up the top of the racetrack.
Here's a good example right here. Watch these 3 cars. Now, Bobby's got his line taken away a little bit, but he out-accelerates Gordon off the corner.
So Bobby Labonte leads for the second time today. Jeff Gordon has already led 102 laps of this race in. We'll be right back to the rock.
This is the kind of shoot that can make history.
It was a military exercise that went wrong. It was a Navy cover-up.
What happened in that gun turret?
That only one man had the power to stop. James Caan.
This goes way beyond disloyalty. You're the captain of the island. What you say will carry more weight than anything.
A Glimpse of Hell, based on a true story. Premieres Sunday, March 18th on FX.
Chicken!
It's an all-new season of Son of the Beach, with all-new episodes that are even more bigger.
Nice shot.
Even more better.
Look, Ma! No Viagra!
And most of all, even more Johnson.
A pleasure to meet a man with such respect in the community.
Props back at you.
Good night.
The second coming of Son of the Beach has arrived.
God bless America.
All new episodes premiere Tuesday, March 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Son of the Beach, only on FX.
Well, growing up as a kid, we raced bicycles, tricycles, whatever we could race. That's all I've ever known as far as a job is racing something.
Well, when I'm not racing, I like to get out in the woods, do a little deer hunting.
Racing and hunting, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of similarities in it. You have to be patient on the racetrack, and you have to be very patient in a deer stand.
When I put that steering wheel on, put my helmet on, I've got one job to do, and that's it. That's the best part of our job, is being able to pull in victory lane after a hard day.
A Glimpse of Hell, based on a true story. Premieres Sunday, March 18th, only on FX.
Busch Series Racing on FX, live from Las Vegas. If you play your cards right, you'll hit the jackpot. NASCAR on FX. Coverage begins Saturday, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific.
Winston Cup Racing from Rockingham on Fox is brought to you by Pfizer, where life is our life's work. By the Home Depot, the official home improvement warehouse of NASCAR. By Dodge and nearly 3,000 dealers who invite you to come see what's different. And by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running.
He got behind.
Welcome back to Rockingham, where Bobby Labonte leads Jeff Gordon and Steve Park. There's Labonte working on rookie driver Kurt Busch. Ricky Craven has put the move to Steve Park, and Craven moves up into 3rd place.
And he is coming to the front. I say it, give him a little time here, and he'll be chasing down that 18 car and that 24 car, because this car just looks, I hate to keep saying that, but his car is handling well, and it's not being slid around the racetrack, it's being driven around the racetrack.
It's going through the center of the corner, plus it's getting a good straight forward drive up off the corner.
And this is the best run for a Cal Wells car since he came to Winston Cup Racing a year ago.
I think you're right.
He had one top 10 finish last year with Scott Pruitt. That was at the Brickyard 400. And Ricky Craven giving Wells' team their best outing ever. Now, their second car, Andy Houston, was one of 2 that failed to qualify for this race. Kyle Petty was the other. Green flag pit stops have begun. Brett Bodine was in last lap. There's Casey Atwood just completing his pit stop service.
And I know it would sound crazy to the fans at home because we've got over 200 laps to go, but Rockingham has always had the knack for having long green runs. Yeah. And what you'll do, you'll start figuring now, all right, I got 200 laps to go as a crew chief. I pitted about 55 laps ago. How can I break my pit stops up to get the full advantage of the freshest tires throughout all these runs?
Exactly. Well, let's see if we can find out from the leader's pit. Here's Steve.
Guys, remember, on that last pit stop on or about lap 132, Bobby Labonte asked for less air pressure in the left side tires because he was tight. Well, he has now radioed Jimmy Maycar and said, when we stop next time, don't touch a thing. The tire pressures are perfect. So all they'll do is put on 4 tires and take gas. No adjustments next stop.
Watching Jerry Nadeau's number 25, 15th, and Ward Burton in the number 22, 16th.
A couple of guys I thought would have really good runs today. We, we keyed in on Burton there at the start of the race. Thought he was going to be a factor, but he's been struggling just a tad through the middle part of this race.
And, Darrell, it's interesting hearing them drop the air pressure in the left side tires there. You know, with a radial tire, they don't change size with air pressure. They change spring rate. That's all the tire is a spring. And 1 pound of air will change the rate of that tire about 10 or 12 pounds. And so what they've done, they've made the left side of the car think it's softer and get more bite into the racetrack through the corner.
What they're trying to do is grip up those left side tires. You can only go so low on the right. You overwork the right sides and bust the sidewall, but you can go way, way on down, probably, what, 18 pounds in the left side tires here.
Just enough to say it's still got air in it.
They look like drag tires.
Here comes Bobby Hamilton into this battle. The number 55, the Andy Petrie car. Remember, this is 15th, 16th, and 17th place.
And the thing I noticed in Parks earlier when we were looking at Parks' tires that he took off after his first stop, even though he was needing tires, they were not worn out. There was still 3/32 of rubber left on those tires after about 80 or 90 laps.
Yeah, they do not wear out, but this racetrack, I've always described it's like running on 80 grit sandpaper. It just wears the grip of the tire out. It's not like it wears the rubber out. It loses grip.
Rusty's on pit road. And probably in the nick of time because he's a couple of seconds from going a lap down here.
The 2-car of Rusty Wallace on pit road. He was complaining earlier that his car was very, very loose. They made a lot of adjustments on the previous stop. He did like the car, but they are still making a lot of adjustments. 4 tires for Rusty Wallace. He put the second can up, and he's now finally down and away.
17 seconds. Jason Leffler was also in on that lap. These are scheduled green flag pit stops. Here's the 33 of Joe Nemechek coming to the pit lane as Wallace exits down this long pit road. Elliott Sadler's had a strong run here today in that 21, the Wood Brothers car, battling Robert Presley there and Robbie Gordon. Sadler's up to 11th place. Now he and that yellow car of Presley are both on the lead lap.
They are. You know, there's something you might want to make a correlation here. The 32 car, Mike Beam works on the 32 car. He was the crew chief on the 21 car some of last year and has worked with that team very closely. Both cars are running exceptionally well. Probably using the same setup would be one of my guesses.
I would say, and you know, Mike Beam has been around. He was Bill Elliott's crew chief. He's been around since Bill was a kid. I mean, he's been around forever.
Got a pretty quick stop going on here for a guy that we was anticipating. I think he run out of chewing gum way too early.
Now, a lot of times the reason cars that's almost going a lap down will pit first, what their hopes is to get advantage of those fresh tires, yard themselves on the leaders, and a caution come out and keep them on the lead lap.
Rick Mast, Robbie Gordon, John Andretti, Kevin Harvick also in, along with Jeremy Mayfield, now Bobby Hamilton, Todd Bodine, Huck Strickland, and Ron Hornaday. And these are all scheduled stops.
Seems like in some of these cars, I'm watching the 15, the 28, the 40 of Sterling Marlin. These guys seem like they really are stronger at the end of a run than, say, Gordon or Park is. They seem to have a little bit better last 15 or 20 laps in their runs. They seem to be a little bit better than those guys do.
And what they probably did, Darrell, we talked about it earlier, maybe they took care of their tires a little better when they was fresh.
Here's a fellow we've not spoken of much, Sterling Marlin, but he's had a great run going, 5th place right now. The reason Robbie Gordon is shooting past him is that Marlin has not made his pit stop while Gordon's on fresh tires. Look at his run from 16th place at lap 40 on up into the top 5.
Yeah, he's closing in on Steve Park. And his car is it's handling very well around the bottom of the racetrack, which is, at this point in time, not a bad place to be because all of them seem to be up around the top.
4th place battle here.
2 distinctively different lines. Shorter around the bottom, but get the momentum and the run off of the turn.
And Darrell, when your car works that good on the bottom this late in the run on tires, that means you've got a pretty good race car.
Pretty good hot
it won't work like that down at the bottom.
Pretty good hot rod. Here comes Vincent in.
Jerry Nadeau, Johnny Benson, Mike Skinner, Jimmy Spencer making pit stops.
Now this is when I am not envious of the crew chiefs, because as long as the fast cars stay out, here we go. Look at Ward Burton's. Man,
That was called he's got 4 feel-goods on there. Them tires feel real good.
You can just see Ward's cape with the big S on it flowing in the wind behind him as he shoots on through there. And this battle for 4th place rages right on.
I mean, he's already put a third of a straightaway on these guys just with those 4 fresh tires. It just shows you how much it means.
Darrell, do you have to drive real defensively? You're battling for 4th place, and you know all these fellas are flying through here on stickers.
This is when you really rely on your spotter. You got to have that spotter to tell you that guy's on 4 tires, fresh tires. Get out of his way, he'll run over you. See how quick he closes in on him, how quickly? But you got to move up out of the way or he'll run into the back of you accidentally.
Kenny Schrader's got fresh tires as well as he and Rusty Wallace move on past number 40 Sterling Marlin, the 4th place car.
And what's going on with our top 6 or 7 cars? Just like 70 laps ago, whoever commits, the other one's going to be right with them. We got one that's committed.
24. Here they all come.
All of them's coming.
24, 32, 1.
Gordon, Craven, and Park are in. They're going to be joined by Terry Labonte on pit road and Robert Presley.
Bobby Labonte did not pit, but I bet you in a lap he'll be in here.
You know, he was the last one to pit last time when the leaders came in. He stayed out.
Jeff?
Yeah, we're down there in 32 car pit. Ricky Craven had a little trouble on the left rear. They were really good on the right side, but had trouble on the left side. He's out of the way now. Dick Berggren.
Jeff Gordon's taking 4 tires. They're adjusting the air pressure on both rear tires to try to get him a little bit more bite. Steve Park, with whom he has dueled all day, has also been in the pits right now. Gordon's gone.
Michael Waltrip's in, and so is Dale Jarrett among the lead lap cars. Matt?
No major adjustments anticipated for Michael Waltrip. Just like the previous stop, with 4 tires and fuels, but this time they're going to start, a little trouble coming around in the front by the Jackman Britt Goodrich. This time, though, they're going to start the car with a little lower air pressure because they did not like the buildup seen in the last set of tires. A long stop for Michael Waltrip.
Oh, yeah. 10th place Bill Elliott, along with Ricky Rudd and Tony Stewart are in. Dick?
Ricky Rudd won at Rockingham in October 1996. Car not as good right now as it had been before. Here comes Rudd in to make his pit stop. Bobby Burrell is going to be doing the front tires. Tony Stewart is going to be pitting right behind him. Here comes Stewart right behind Rudd. Zooming around to the other side, Norman Cujovizo, 56 years old. He's a long-time gas man. He's putting the fuel into Rudd's car. Rudd with a great stop. He's up 15 seconds. Stewart's still in here. They're still trying to get that race car in Stewart's so that he is happy with it. Now Stewart's gone.
Bobby Labonte stays on the racetrack, as does Sterling Marlin. They're the 2 leaders.
I believe Bobby Labonte be in those pits. If not this lap, the very next one.
Got it down on the bottom now like he's coming.
Yeah, here comes Labonte. Yeah. Now, Marlin's car has been quite good. He continues to run the bottom of the racetrack, and Marlin will stay out to lead a lap here, it appears. Yep.
But the longer you can run a decent speed and stay out there, the more you put all. If a caution came out right now, he would be in the catbird seat. And that's what you really worry about when you make these stops. And somebody good keeps on going. Makes you nervous. Steve?
Bobby Labonte has a clear shot. Nobody in front or behind to block him in. They are going to make an air pressure adjustment. They're going to put a ½ pound back in the left rear. Good stop for Bobby Labonte on the right side. Jeff Chandler on the front tires. Barry Cook on the rear tires. He's down and away. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
45 miles per hour, the pit road speed. Tony Glover telling Sterling Marlin to watch his tach so they do not speed. 4-3-2. He comes into his pit box. A
track bar, 4 tires for Sterling Marlin. He said his car was just a little bit loose on that last run, but it is starting to come to him as they dance around to the front. Rick Reeling jacks the car up. A good stuff so far for Sterling Marlin. Cleans off the grill, and he's gone.
19.5-second stop for Sterling, and that should just about complete the cycle of green flag pit stops that will put Jeff Gordon back in the lead over Bobby Labonte, Steve Park, and Ricky Rudd.
And just think about, look at where these guys are on the track position right now. There goes Gordon by the start line. Here comes Labonte by the start line. There goes Park. And then way, way back here, there goes the 32 car. Those guys have lost that much time in the pit because they were very, very close together when they all pitted.
The one driver who had not stopped is Dave Blaney, who is currently shown in 5th place.
And Jeff Gordon, he's leading the race now by over 4 seconds. The difference, he pitted about 4 to 5 laps before Bobby Labonte, and it enabled him not only to take the lead, but put that much of a lead on Bobby Labonte.
So even though pit stops look like, you know, you just make them when you want to, Larry, I know you can address this better than I, but there's a lot of strategy, particularly here, when you're going to make that pit stop and what you're going to do.
Well, you lose so much time on those old tires, and you're fighting all these cars that's coming by you left and right with fresh tires, and that even makes you lose more time.
Yeah, see, one thing I never liked about a 1-mile racetrack, there's no way to pit without losing a lap. Then you throw in a 45-mile-an-hour pit road speed, and, buddy, you could lose 2 laps just doing something that's just routine.
And that's what's put Blaney up into 5th place. He's not made his stop. They are gambling that a caution would come out, because if he pits now, he'll go back to running 1 or 2 laps down where he was before this cycle of pit stops began.
And sometimes if you've got a car that's kind of borderline, that's maybe not bad strategy. And here's Ricky Craven. He's in 7th position right now, which would actually, when Blaney pits, he'll be in 6th. So, again, not a very good pit stop, put him back a few positions.
We're now told Blaney pitted at lap 202, so I think we'll have to wait for a scoring update there.
The more the cars come in and make adjustments, the more they'll start to run back down around the bottom of the racetrack.
177 laps to go. We've completed the 2nd round of green flag pit stops. Jeff Gordon is our race leader. Bobby Labonte's in 2nd, Steve Park, Ricky Rudd, and Johnny Benson.
If you've got a big job, Labor Ready is the nation's leader in temporary labor, and the first to offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you aren't completely satisfied with the work, call us within 2 hours and we'll take care of it, no questions. Just call 1-800-24-LABOR. You can find good help these days. Labor Ready, dependable temporary labor.
Never once did your car ask you for jewelry or flowers. Never once did it ask you if it looks fat, or did it get mad at you for leaving the seat up. Your car always gives you exactly what you want. Doesn't it deserve something special in return?
Hey, kids, look who's here.
Woohoo! Happy birthday, Tommy.
Danny.
Okay, what's your favorite animal, Donnie?
Giraffe?
There you go.
What is it?
Hey, you're welcome. Kids, come here. Clowny's got an idea. Who wants a nap? Huh? I know I do. What?
Ever get the feeling some people just stop trying? At Avis, we know people like to be taken care of. Individually. Avis, we try harder.
Chicken! It's an all-new season of Son of the Beach, with all-new episodes that are even more bigger.
Nice shot.
Even more badder.
Look, Ma! No Viagra!
And most of all, even more Johnson.
A pleasure to meet a man with such respect in the community. Props back at you. Gesundheit.
The second coming of Son of the Beach has arrived.
God bless America.
All new episodes premiere Tuesday, March 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Son of the Beach, only on FX.
Oh, baby, Tough Man brings out its best as we revisit LT's historic fight. The Best of Tough Man 2001, Friday at 10 on FX.
Sir, this is the kind of shoot that can make history.
Never in the history of the United States Navy have we killed our own and then blamed them for the killing.
Someone in authority decided that it was best for the Navy if they find a culprit.
Rumored that they're homosexual lovers.
Oh, God, that's
way heartbreaking.
We could tell that they were there to pin it on someone or to mislead this investigation.
Mislead the media and the public into worrying about homosexual mad bombers.
Was he gay?
There's never been any evidence of that. I know there's been speculation amongst the press.
Excuse me, those leaks came from the Navy.
Why would somebody be gay? Why would that be important in proving that there was an explosion in a gun room?
You little piss-ass snitch. Bingo. Stop it, Jake. You can't say that. How the hell would you know?
What happened in that gun turret?
James Caan, A Glimpse of Hell, based on a true story. Premieres Sunday, March 18th at 8, only on FX.
And now for something distinctly different from Dodge, the all-new Dodge Stratus. Stratus sedan has the government's highest safety rating, a 5-star frontal crash safety rating for both driver and front passenger. And now with low 0.9 financing on Stratus, you'll find the difference may actually be even better. Dodge Stratus. Different.
Kevin, I'm going out. Remember, when the guy comes to fix the dryer, tell him it doesn't dry. If your mother calls, find out what flight she's on, otherwise we won't know where to meet her. Dinner's in the oven. Turn it on at 5.
Eat a Wendy's honey ham and chicken sandwich and something happens. That delicious combination of a whole breast filet, honey ham, and creamy Dijon sauce makes it difficult to pay attention to anything else.
And I told the neighbor you'd feed their cat. If you have a minute, honey, the back door's stuck open.
Come in.
Wendy's honey ham and chicken.
Lunch, anyone?
Hi, I'm Michael Waltrip. What are the 5 keys to building a great Winston Cup team? Number 1, find a great sponsor. Number 2, get together a top-notch crew. Number 3, build a really fast car. Number 4, sign up a really fast driver. Number 5, don't let the sponsor make suggestions.
Driven. This film is not yet rated. Starts Friday, April 27th.
Winston Cup Racing from Rockingham on Fox is brought to you by Warner Brothers' new motion picture Driven, in theaters everywhere this spring. This film is not yet rated.
The flags at half-mast here at Rockingham, honoring Dale Earnhardt. We just weren't meant to race yesterday. 39 of those 51 laps yesterday were run under caution. And as soon as NASCAR President Mike Heldon pulled the plug and called the race, the rain stopped, the skies opened up, and said, folks, you know, come back tomorrow. It was a nice day after that. But there was not enough time left to dry the track and run the race. That's why NASCAR canceled when they did, even though they knew clear weather was following yesterday afternoon. But today we restarted this race shortly after 11 a.m. and we have not had a caution.
I just don't believe anybody's heart was in racing yesterday. No. I think their minds and hearts were somewhere else. And Dale Jr. gets knocked out on the first lap. But you know something, Larry, I've noticed these guys drive a lot better on Monday than they do on Sunday. What's the deal here?
They're wanting to get snowmobile.
I think they want to get on down the road, don't you?
But you know, Darrell, I can't sit here but think Mike sparked the thought. You know, without a caution since lap 55. That's almost 200 laps ago, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
They don't have timeouts. They don't have halftime. These guys are out there running 150 miles an hour without stopping. They get a little 13-second break about every 60 laps, but they got to keep thinking, and they got to keep going. Anybody that don't think they're an athlete, they need to watch it closer.
Oh, yeah. These guys train. They work hard. They watch what they eat. These guys, they're professionals and they're athletes, and I've argued that for 20 years.
Bobby Labonte chasing Michael Waltrip there. Now Jeff Gordon has just put Michael one lap down, and here comes Bobby Labonte. Steve?
Mike, a couple of things. They are already talking about what they want to do on their last pit stop, but they're also looking ahead to next week in Las Vegas. In the offseason, crew chief Jimmy Maymeyer. We've got trouble in turn 2.
It's fun. Down to the apron, it's Mike Skinner. I did not see contact with another car, but Skinner is now facing wrong way, and you see him get right and down on the apron, and caution is out.
I don't know if he hit anything or not. The car doesn't appear to have any damage unless he backed it up into the wall where we can't see the back of it. I think he just spun out.
It is the first caution of today, the third caution officially of the race.
Now, that little damage on that left rear right there would tell me that he might have got some help.
Well, let's see.
This is over in turn 2. There you see Skinner, the 31 car. He just got loose up in the high groove.
Damage was from something happened earlier.
Now here comes Jeff Burton along on the apron.
And he says, whoa, where'd he come from?
That's a little bit of damage that he got there on the left
He
rear.
didn't get help, but that's where he got his damage from.
On board, Mike Skinner.
See how she did a little wobble? Did that little wobble, and as he tried to correct it, around she comes.
Very lucky he didn't hit anything, or anybody didn't hit him no more than Jeff Burton did, and pit road will be busy.
It will be, and I tell you, a lot of guys were glad to see this break. They needed to talk to their pit crew. They need to talk to crew chief, say, man, we got to make some major adjustments. Can't do that up under green.
We've got 20 cars on the lead lap. Now, all that can pit this first time is lead lap cars.
And here they come. And it looks as if everyone on the lead lap will pit. Long way around for pole sitter Jeff Gordon to that final pit stall. Matt?
And now the 40 car on pit road, 4 tires.
Steve Park beats Michael Waltrip out. Here comes Gordon, who had that final pit space and gets away first.
Big advantage being in that last box down there, or first box, ever how you want to look at it. All he's got to do is jump across that line, and he's in the lead.
And how these guys get their pit selection, it's chosen by how you qualify. So you always pick that first spot. You only have to move a little bit to beat your competitors across the line.
And there's never anybody parked in front of you.
Exactly. Never a reason to get blocked in.
Here's the extension of pit road recently around turns 1 and 2 to prevent half this field having to pit on the backstretch. And there you see where they exit at turn 2.
They have to maintain that pit road speed of 45 miles an hour there. Here's Michael Waltrip that just had went a lap down.
Yeah, tough break. He got lapped just prior to the caution flag. Matt?
Mike, a lot of debate on what to do to this car on this caution. They were thinking about some major adjustments. They are going to use the wedge wrench, but also taking a pound out of the right rear. A 4-tire stop for Michael Waltrip. A tough break. He did go that lap down. Tires going on the left side of the 15 car. 36 car down and away.
Jeff Gordon led the charge off pit road, but Mark Martin is picked up as the leader. Dick?
Mike, part of the reason that he did was you were absolutely correct. No one can block him in because of his pit stall. The rest of it is these guys have cracked off incredible pit stops all day long. That one was sub 15 seconds. They changed the track bar. They changed the weight adjustment on the car. 4 tires, gas, all in less than 15 seconds. To Steve Burns.
Dick, Bobby Labonte pitted on lap 211, and they put a half a pound of air in the left rear tire. Well, here on 244, they took that back out. And just to cap the story we started, in the offseason, Jimmy Maymeyer hired 2 truck drivers to help get this team ready for Las Vegas or incidents like this.
Mark Martin has now surrendered the lead and come on to pit road to get his 4 tires. He'll get 5 points for leading that lap, and we'll be right back with more NASCAR on FX.
Busch Series Racing on FX, live from Las Vegas. If you play your cards right, you'll hit the jackpot. NASCAR on FX. Coverage begins Saturday, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific.
Hey, Notch, why is it called a pit stop?
Gentlemen,
like a first date.
The Second Coming of Son of the Beach. All new episodes. Premieres Tuesday, March 13th, only on FX.
Well, growing up as a kid, we raced bicycles, tricycles, whatever we could race. That's all I've ever known as far as a job is racing something. So when I'm not racing, I like to get out in the woods, do a little deer hunting. Instinct on the racetrack is knowing who you're racing around and what's going to happen the next lap. You know, in the woods, it's what sound is that, and if that's a deer.
Jeff loves to hunt. He would do it every day of the year if he could. He would have it made if he could bring home a paycheck.
I'm good at it. But nobody will pay me to do it. Racing and hunting, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of similarities in it. You have to be patient on the racetrack, and you have to be very patient in a deer stand. When I put that steering wheel on and put my helmet on, I've got one job to do, and that's it. I don't think about anything else. I just try to think about keeping the fenders on my race car and see if we can get that thing to the end and see what kind of results we have at the end of the day. That's the best part of our job, is being able to pull in victory lane after a hard day.
This is the kind of shoot that can make history.
It was a military exercise that went wrong. It was a Navy cover-up.
What happened in that gun turret?
That only one man had the power to stop. James Caan.
This goes way beyond disloyalty. You're the captain of the island. What you say will carry more weight than anything.
A glimpse of hell, based on a true story. Premieres Sunday, March 18th on FX. 54. Premieres Sunday at 7, only on FX.
We've just gone back to green. Jeff Gordon takes off. Jimmy Spencer tried to get a lap back without success. Steve Park is second. Bobby Labonte third. Ricky Rudd is fourth. Tony Stewart fifth. Johnny Benson sixth. Ricky Craven seventh. Then Dale Jarrett. Mark Martin did not pit with the leaders. Stayed out on track, picked up 5 points for leading a lap, but as a consequence, he's taken this restart back at 20th position.
Well, that's about where he was before the caution come out, and this is how these guys look at the big picture. It's 36 races, but every point counts.
Yeah, folks at home, grab your TV because it gets a little dicey right here for a lap or two. They get sorted out.
Dick Berggren.
Tony Stewart has told his crew that he feels physically just fine. The car, however, has been loose all day. The reason? It was set up for yesterday where it was cloudy, overcast, and much colder. So on each pit stop, they have adjusted the car, and it's getting better and better and closer to Stewart's liking. In the fifth spot right now. He could be a threat to win this thing, Mike.
The way he come off that corner a while ago, I think it's getting real good. He really got a good bite up off turn 2 versus the competitors.
Look at the log jam behind him as Ricky Rudd battles Johnny Benson. That's fifth place at stake. Rudd's 28, Benson's number 10. Bill Elliott battling among them is one lap down in car 9. Car in the wall, turn 1. John Andretti brushed it, but got away. Okay. There's Andretti.
He was actually still on the lead lap. Of course, now he's shown in 20th.
Yeah, there's the evidence of Andretti's dodge. Look at the upper right corner of your screen.
There's Andretti going off into turn 1. Just gets up there in that loose marbles and just runs out of racetrack, Darrell.
Yeah, they've been, a lot of cars were running up there earlier. I think it's, they've moved down a little bit, and it's caused the top of the track to be dirty with the sand and the rubber and the grit and everything. But I'll be with y'all a little bit here as soon as they get sorted out. I got to keep my eye on these guys.
There are a lot of drivers that wish this track was a lane or two wider than it is about this stage in the race. There's Dale Jarrett right in the pack, battling hard against Ricky Craven for 7th place. Jeff?
Yeah, Mike, I was down in an 88 car pit when Dale Jarrett came in. His car was just a little bit on the tight side still. And Steve Allen, the gas man, took one round out of the left rear. They said if they get the car away and free up a little bit more, then it felt like Dale could try to make a way up through the pack and be a force to contend with before the end of the day.
Now, Bill Davis's 2 Dodges are right in that battle. There's Dave Blaney, 93, and Ward Burton, 22.
That's 9th and 10th. They're back in this race now with that caution, bunching them back up.
And another Dodge, Sterling Marlin, is right there with them. By the way, just to update, John Andretti did not pit. He stayed on the racetrack after that brush with the wall. And look at this pack fighting for 6th place on back.
Well, that 32 car is really, he's put some moves on a lot of people. And I think there's something wrong with Ricky Rudd's car. going to get run over.
He's trying to get to pit road, I believe, but he can't get there.
Couldn't do it. Too much of a crowd, and the low lane was not open.
He's got his hand out. Yeah, he's got a problem. He's trying to get down, and, man, everybody did a great job of avoiding that.
He's got to go all the way around the racetrack back to turn 4 to get to pit road.
That looks, you know, you wouldn't get down on the apron, this terminal. If it was just a tire or something like that.
That separated that bunch right out. Now, where Rudd was, it's in the midst of that pack, and he's right down against the apron.
Now, what he's on now, he's on the old backstretch pit road that's not used anymore.
He's out of harm's way.
So Dale Jarrett moved up. There's Jarrett leading that pack, and Ward Burton has taken the spot right behind him while Craven is way up on the high side. Dick, what's wrong with Rudd?
Ricky Rudd was first having a handling problem. The car was too loose, but the real problem is the transmission has failed. He has lost third gear. Right now, the crew is getting ready to bring him behind the wall so they can execute a repair on that gearbox.
Now, the handling may have gone away on Ricky Craven, Darrell. He's not been able to run anywhere near the bottom of the racetrack, and he's been losing position.
No, I'll tell you, I think the car's okay, Mike. Right. He's moving around the top, and he was on the bottom, didn't like it. He went to the top. I believe he's okay. I think he's still moving forward.
And this is right after a restart, fresh tires, where his car's been strongest is the latter part of a long run.
Yeah. Oh, they're 28. I tell you, Ricky Rudd and Mike and those guys, they have the worst luck.
Up front, Steve Park goes back for the lead.
They made some good calls on Park's car, Larry. They've adjusted on that car. They kept him right up there in the front. Right around the bottom she goes on that white line. I love it.
He's below that white line.
Oh, yeah.
He can't keep his car down there right now. He pulls right back on Park here going into turn 3.
Them bad boys are handling when they'll get on that white line. Whoop.
Now Dave Blaney has fought his way past Ricky Craven, and Sterling Marlin looks in, but...
Yeah, they're just playing, they're backs and forwards right now.
Craven's car now seems to be getting a little bit better than it was at the start of this run.
What'll happen, the teams will start the air pressure way down. Cars don't drive very good. Wiggle around there. Low air pressure because these tires build so much pressure on a long run, it'll actually get the feeling like basketballs bouncing.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've called them many a time. I got so much air in this thing, the tires feel like a ball bouncing all over the place. Sterling Marlin's right there.
So's Robert Presley in that 77 part of that group.
You know, I just noticed that 77 car is in the hunt.
The 33 is a lap car, Nemechek, and there's Presley right in this battle as they fight for 7th place on back.
It's about the best race on the speedway right now. These guys right here are jockeying around trying to see who wants to lead and who wants to follow.
I believe there was a guy on the racetrack that was looking for a caution. It was that 22 car of Ward Burton because, again, he showed so strong yesterday, had to start at the back, and now he's done moved his way back up to 7th position.
And we haven't talked a lot about the Dodges this week like we did last week. But the Dodges, this is their first downforce race of the year, so I'm sure they're probably still learning a lot.
Dave Blaney and Sterling Marlin both in Dodges. And the end of straightaway speed on Marlin a little higher that time.
Normally that means he drove it in a little deeper.
But Blaney was getting off. Blaney was really getting off the corner good. Now here they go down the straightaway.
This is our Fox Tracks, folks. It's a way of pinpointing the position of cars we can talk about rather than telestrate them. And we can provide you with different information there at the top of the screen about those cars that we're pinpointing.
Yeah, Blaney's a little faster.
Jeff?
Yeah, Mike, and I think Larry and Darrell can echo this situation right here with the 32 car. The car is going through that transition deal. It starts out a little bit tight, and all of a sudden it goes actually neutral, and the car ends up a little bit loose. So therefore, the guys are really having a hard time to fine-tune the car in. But they say Ricky's absolutely happy with what the car's doing. It would just be a little bit more consistent, a little bit quicker at the start of the run.
Trouble on Mark Martin. This is not a scheduled stop. He stopped right at the end of that caution. I think Larry might have felt a vibration or something as they've changed all 4 tires very prematurely.
Yeah, he's probably look at this battle right here. These guys, this is like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. I mean, these guys are racing like there's 5 laps to go.
They came off of turn 2, the last lap off of here, side by side. Craven's real good. He jumps up on the outside. Blaney's real good on the bottom. Ward's stuck in the middle, and you got the 77 and the 40 back there hounding them. This is some hard racing.
Yeah, back to the tire situation, Mark Martin. Normally, that short after a pit stop, if he complains about a vibration, the only way you think you can get it is go ahead and change all four.
This is a great race here.
This group of cars right here they're fun to watch.
This is one of the great things about this racetrack is everybody goes into the corner in line, and then they all scatter and take a different path.
12 cars coming down pit road slowly.
Burton on the bottom, everybody else up high this time through turns 3 and 4.
Me. One corner, you got 5 of them on the top side, 1 of them on the bottom side. Next corner, they're all at the bottom.
Well, that's the driver's discretion. He says, oh, that didn't work too good. I think I'll try it. Well, that didn't work too good.
Jeff, what's wrong with Mayfield?
They're acting like right now they may have a broken rear end. They're trying to check right now to see what the ratchet's doing. They're looking at the car, jacking up, working it back and forth on the left rear. They're not really too sure.
Dick Berggren?
It's going to be a long time for Ricky Rudd. This piece sticks right out of the rear end gear itself. It's supposed to be solid. That has broken as a result of its failure. The drive shaft dropped down, banged against the car. They're having to change the drive shaft, the rear end gear as well. This will be an extensive pit stop. To Steve Burns.
Dick with Paul Andrews, crew chief for Steve Park. Tell us about your strategy as we near the closing laps of the race, the end of the race, Paul.
Well, luckily it kind of fell right into our place. We just kind of cut the race in half from this point on, and that's about when we're going to pit. The car's pretty good. We were struggling a little bit at the midpoint of the race. We made some adjustments the last stop and made it a lot better. We're in good shape right now.
Another car that's flying is that 10 of Johnny Benson. He's pulled right up on Bobby Labonte. That's for 3rd place. The other car in the picture, Mark Martin, is laps down, but is on new tires and may blast right past them. There you see on our Fox tracks, Benson's speed for different parts of this track. And he had Labonte, but you see Labonte's got more straightaway speed coming off the top lane off the corner. And now Mark's going to get right in the middle of this.
You know, we got Mark just came out of the pit. I guess he put tires on, so he's got a little advantage on those guys. He's kind of squirted right through the middle of them.
You know, Darrell, what I like about the Fox track is it keeps you and me from drawing circles in midair with the telescope.
Around cars that aren't there anymore, right. You see the Mark Martin's in 25th place, a couple of laps back. Now here's the Dave Blaney, Ricky Craven battle along with 77 Robert Presley. You know, it's been a tough day for those Roush cars. Jeff Burton hit the wall early. Kurt Busch clipped the wall. Mark Martin unscheduled pit stop, and Matt Kenseth as well. Jeff, Jeremy Mayfield still in the pits. Jeff?
Yeah, Mike, what they did, they found out, they believe they've got a broken axle. They're trying to get the left side axle out. It will not come out. Mark Martin called in. He thought he had a vibration, maybe a loose wheel. When they brought the car in, everything was fine. They checked the pressures. The tires were not equalized. Now they think he might have had a wheel weight come loose or come off the car, which gave him the vibration, but it has cost him dearly. Now 2 laps down.
Watch what I was talking about. One thing about a 1-mile racetrack, you got to make a pit stop unscheduled like that, you're going to lose 2 laps.
Steve Park comes up to lap rookie Kurt Busch. 116 laps to go, at least 1 more pit stop. You're watching Winston Cup Racing for Rockingham on FX.
Yesterday, to find good wood at a typical home improvement store, you had to search through stack after stack. Frankly, this was a waste of time. Today, with Lowe's exclusive Top Choice brand lumber, the search is over. Every piece is pre-inspected. Straighter, smoother, center cut, and graded prime. And Lowe's has all the other building materials you need, in stock at guaranteed low prices. Ambitious people rejoice and finish faster. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
I like this one and that one, Daddy.
You have to pay the man for the rabbits now. Can I write a check?
Have to see some ID.
Okay.
Love is in the air, everywhere.
Have to call us in.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Daddy.
Have to see a second ID.
Okay.
This doesn't look like you. Date of birth. Have to phone this in.
Next time, use the Visa check card instead of cash or checks. It'll get you in, out, and on with life.
Mother's maiden name.
A terrible tragedy. A naked cover-up. James Caan.
This goes way beyond his loyalty.
A Glimpse of Hell. Premieres March 18th on FX.
Winston Cup Racing from Rockingham on Fox is brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of NASCAR. Visa, it's everywhere NASCAR fans want to be.
Tonight and every weeknight on Fox Sports Net, Totally NASCAR. They'll keep you up to date on everything that happened here today and yesterday and Saturday at Rockingham, and it's every night, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. your local time with Steve Burns. Totally NASCAR on Fox Sports Net. Steve Park leads Jeff Gordon now by 3.5 seconds. Johnny Benson is third. And there's a whale of a battle here with Ricky Craven battling the 77 of Robert Presley. Sterling Marlin is in there. Ward Burton is part of this one.
I haven't been able to take my eyes off of this one. These guys have been they've been passing and repassing, and they run high, they run low, and they're all running in the top 10 there. So
yeah, Dave Blaney as well is part of this, and 21 Elliott Sadler.
There's Sadler now creeping into the picture.
All the way back through 12th place in one pack. And this is after 300 miles here. They're running this close. Let's get an update on Jeremy Mayfield from Jeff.
Things have really taken a turn for the worse here down in the 12-car pit. As you'll notice right here, this is the axle that came out of the left side. It wasn't broken, but you'll see that the teeth that makes the drive plate, which actually makes the wheel turn, they're all gone. So therefore, the left side, left rear in particular, will not pull. But when they went to go to replace it, they come to find out that the axle they had here in the pit would not fit inside the car, so therefore they had to go back and get another one off the truck, and they're waiting on it to get back. Dick?
Jeff Gordon has called into his pit, and he has said his car is plowing like crazy. That's a word I haven't heard for a long time. It's another term for push. And the crew has told him just take it easy on entry and the turns, and they're going to take a little air pressure out in this next pit stop. Gordon with an understeering race car. Mike?
Well, it might be plowing, and that's the term you had, but it isn't pushing like a dump truck. And that's the word. It doesn't get any worse than that.
Pushing like a plow.
Pushing like a plow.
And that's characteristic of Rockingham now. You know, we're 300 miles into this race. Rubber's getting down. And no matter what characteristics your car has, as the rubber gets down, the car like it turns worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, this track, if you could just, if the folks at home, I don't know if you can tell it or not. We started the race after it had been all the rain and everything. The track was real white looking. And now the track has a nice gray tint to it where it's got all the rubber from the cars running on it. That changes the handling characteristics of the car. Car that was good, like my brother's early, is now a lap down and going another one down. And that just tells you how this track changes.
Steve Park, meanwhile, is flying in that #1 car.
He is.
Former runner-up on the NASCAR modified, Featherlight Modified Series, and most popular driver in that series. Came to the Busch Series for Dale Earnhardt. Actually, he caught Earnhardt's attention while running up at New Hampshire International Speedway in a truck and in a modified, and ran a few Busch North races, and got a chance to drive Earnhardt's Busch car, and then moved up to Winston Cup with Earnhardt Incorporated. Now here's Johnny Benson, who has climbed to 3rd place, and also Benson is looking for his first top 10 finish at Rockingham, 11th last year.
I believe he's one of the cars that would love to see this thing go green the rest of the way. His car is good on long green runs.
Bobby Labonte is the 4th place car.
At 18, and his teammate, Tony Stewart, Bobby and Tony, they run together all the time. They were running together at Daytona.
Yeah, they wrecked together.
They wrecked together at Daytona.
They weren't running together right then.
Actually, they wasn't. It was kind of funny. Tony was running 4th, Bobby was running 27th, and they ended up in the same wreck on top of each other.
Yep.
But it stands to reason they run together a lot because their cars have a lot of the same setup. These two cars are prepared in the same shop by the same people, unlike some teammates it's in separate shops.
Yeah, supposedly those two cars are identical. It's really just a matter of tweaking it for each driver.
So they are 4th and 5th, and we look back to find the 6th place car, which will be the 88 of Dale Jarrett. Now, Jarrett is running about 2.5 seconds behind Labonte and Stewart. Now, behind Jarrett, it'll be the 32 of Ricky Craven. And right behind him, Michael Waltrip's a lap car. So Craven, currently, they're in 7th place. Jeff?
Mike down here at Ricky Craven's pit. Come to find out that one of the things that's going on with Ricky is he got into turn 3 wall. He's been running that high groove all day long, and he finally got up there and got into the wall just a little bit down the mat.
Michael Waltrip is 1 lap down back in 19th. I talked to Scott Eagleston, his crew chief. He told me the problem right now, they're all just trying to regroup. They've had a couple of bad pit stops. Keep in mind, this is a freshman pit crew. They've worked together over the winter, but there's nothing like real race competition to gel, and that's what they're trying to do. Right now, also, Michael's just trying to get back his rhythm, Darrell.
Michael, a lap back, you saw 77 Robert Presley, and here, this battle is for 9th place. 93 Dave Blaney and 40 Sterling Marlin.
A couple of dodges. I'd like to pick up just a little bit on Ricky Craven scraping the wall. That'll knock the toe in out a little bit or change where your hands are located on the steering wheel. The car will track a little differently, and you drivers have got this thing about, I got to have my hands in this certain spot. And when he has to adjust, he's not as comfortable, can't drive the car quite as good.
Ward Burton, 22, in 12th place, battling 25 Jerry Nadeau. We also saw 21 Elliott Sadler, who is 11th. This is the 12th place battle.
That's a guy we hadn't talked a lot about today, Jerry Nadeau, but he's hanging right in there on the lead lap and up there battling, trying to claw his way toward the top 10.
And Burton, did he just brush the wall?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Right there in the middle of turn 1 and 2.
Some days this track just isn't wide enough.
Well, it gets slippery, that, whatever how you say that, up there high.
Let's show you what happened to Ward.
This is going off into turn 1 right here up the middle of 1 and 2. There you see Ward in the 22 car. He's all the way against the wall. Well, we've seen a lot all day. You just run out of racetrack.
That didn't hurt anything, man. That's just a little, that's a little brush right there. That is not a pancake.
No.
No, that's a brush.
That just straightened him up.
Yeah. He caught it in the nick of time.
Now behind him, Kevin Harvick.
Hey, and notice he ain't around the top no more either. I'm going to try it down low a while.
What a great run for Kevin Harvick, the Busch Series driver from the West Coast, tapped by Richard Childress. This car would have appeared here in black paint and the number 3 had Dale Earnhardt been with us to drive it. But Kevin Harvick, a lot on his shoulders as he drives this car for Richard Childress' team today.
Unique thing about this car, the last time this car was on the racetrack was when Dale Earnhardt, here we got a pass. This is for the third place right here. Bobby Labonte going underneath Johnny Benson in the 10 car.
3 Pontiacs battling, Benson, Labonte, and Stewart. Oh, trouble, turn 1. Stacy Compton, a lot of smoke from his car. Caution is out as he drops down to the track apron. Something let go.
That may be the first, well, catastrophic engine failure we've seen anyway.
Jimmy Spencer in that 26 car there, he's going to get his lap back, so he'll be back on the lead lap.
Well, he'll be back.
Well, he'll be back 3 laps down. He was actually 4 laps down, so...
I don't know if Brett made it or not. That was pretty close on him. Hopefully he made it, but Park slowed down, let those guys go.
There's Compton right in front of the leader.
And you're just saying, stay down there, stay down there. Don't get that oil on your tires and back up the track in front of me.
And he did take it to the garage here.
Remember, the Dodge engine is untested in Winston Cup competition until we came to Daytona. It's a brand new engine program.
These guys didn't even have good parts. They felt good about racing until late December, even early January.
So it brings us to the 4th caution of the race with 92 laps to go.
Oh, now, Larry boy, how about the strategy? I can run 92 laps on fuel.
Let's see the pit stop, then we'll talk about the strategy. This is where you start. This is where you start selling that driver.
Lead lap cars are in for what should be their final pit stop of the day if we go green from here. Steve Park leads Jeff Gordon, Johnny Benson, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett onto pit road. Jeff?
Ricky Craven's in, and they're making a 4-tire change. No chassis adjustments. We said earlier, Ricky said the car's been transitioning, but he's going to stick with it. Down to Steve Burns.
Jeff, Steve Park already has right side tires. No chassis adjustments. Steve Park has told his crew he likes the car. All they're going to do is change tires. Let's go to Matt Yocho.
Sterling Marlin was not happy with that last set of tires. This is the set we're putting on. The code matches the set that was the best that he's had all day. Air pressure and wedge. Dick?
Jeff Gordon with a slow pit stop, and Steve Park will beat him out. They tried to adjust the car, took a little wedge out of it, air pressure out of the right front to try and cure that push that he had.
The front five come out in the same order in which they went in, but for Johnny Benson, who lost a spot to Dale Jarrett on pit road. Cleanup crew working around turns 1 and 2. Stacy Compton, something let go on his Dodge, and he has coasted to the garage. We'll be right back. You're watching NASCAR on F.
Oh, baby, Tough Man brings out its best as we revisit LT's historic fight. The Best of Tough Man 2001, Friday at 10 on FX.
United States sailor. I will obey the orders of those appointed over me to defend freedom and democracy with honor, courage, and commitment. I am committed to excellence and the fair treatment of all.
A glimpse of hell, based on a true story. Premiere Sunday, March 18th, only on FX.
Racing's pretty much in my family's blood. Grandfather, he raced locally here at Southside Speedway, and my dad also, he raced locally. I would say I'm addicted to going fast, running 200 miles per hour. It doesn't get any more exciting than that. I race motorcycles at the local drag strip. Pretty much it's an adrenaline rush, and that's pretty much what I look for all the time. I haven't figured out why I like speed so much. The faster we're going, the happier I am. Good time.
Oxygen's unit keep America safe from all foreign bodies.
You listen to me, comrade. I think you're full of Bolsheviks.
Son of the Beach. All new episodes premiere March 13th.
Winston Cup Racing from Rockingham on Fox is brought to you by Ultimate TV from Microsoft. By Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. By new Haviland Motor Oil technology, formulated for improved gas mileage. Add more light to your car. And by Pep Boys. Cars like us, people love us.
Welcome back to Rockingham. Here's where your Koch family of drivers are running right now. Steve Park, Bobby Labonte, first and third. Tony Stewart, fourth. And Dale Jarrett up into the top 5.
Watch this guy and watch this guy. Those guys are going to be on the move.
Ricky Rudd back on track after transmission trouble. And on the pit stop summary, everyone came out where they came in except Johnny Benson, who fell from 3rd to 6th. So your top 5 is Park, Gordon, Labonte, Stewart, and Jarrett. What happened to Johnny Benson, Steve?
Guys that just went down to the pits, they didn't have a particular problem. They dropped air pressure in all 4 tires to make this last run here, but again, they didn't have any problem. They just got beat on pit road.
Well, you'd think if they let air out of the tires would be easier to lighter, and you could put them on quick.
Checking tires behind the pit wall. We're still under caution, so we'll take a quick break and be right back.
So, what do you say? I'm not driving a truck.
Of course you're not going to drive a truck. I mean, you'd look like a fool out there racing a truck.
We want you to race the package car. It's a truck. Dale, you know, we could sit here all day and play word games, but that's not going to win us any championships.
No matter what your business, if you need to move it, clean it, cater it, build it up, or tear it down, you can use labor-ready temporary labor. Just call 1-800-24-LABOR or order online at laborready.com and you'll get all the help you need. You can find good help these days. Labor Ready. Dependable temporary labor.
Play the Pep Boys 80th anniversary instant win game and win $80? No, $800. $80,000. One of over 50,000 instant prizes at Pep Boys. Pick up your game piece today.
I'll tell you what, on race day, you better get it right.
You want a hands-on boss.
Yeah.
Terry Labonte.
Terry Labonte.
Check the transmission and the drive shaft. He's involved in every detail.
Right.
Absolutely.
Hey, if that makes me a perfectionist, 1 more pound.
So what?
There's a fingerprint on the windshield.
Got it.
Hey, I'm here to win. Blue. The nose needs to be bluer.
Blue's good.
Yeah,
Blue's great.
Very good.
And now for something dramatically different from Dodge. The all-new Dodge Grand Caravan. Simply put, it's the best minivan ever from the people who invented the minivan. And now with low 0.9 financing on most caravans, you'll find the difference may actually be even better. Dodge Caravan. Different.
Getting set to go back to green with Steve Park leading Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Tony Stewart. Ricky Rudd called in and said this. What they found was the rear gear had broken, and when it snapped and locked up, it took the drive shaft universal joints with it. So they had to replace the rear gear and the drive shaft, but Rudd is back out there. Green flag, and Gordon goes right after the lead.
Gordon got a great jump on Steve Park, and it really is paying off. He was able to get by him going into one.
See the 6-car, Mark Martin up there, he's a lap down, fighting, trying to get that lap back.
Yeah, Mark's had a real up and down day. He didn't run very well in the get-go. Then he got back in the hunt. Then he had that unscheduled stop.
Heavy traffic mid-pack. Mike Skinner, 31, remember, spun and is a lap down.
Look at Ricky Craven trying to get by the 9 of Bill Elliott. This is the frustrating thing. Ricky Craven's on the lead lap. These guys, they're racing each other, but their lap's down, but they're holding the car on the lead lap up.
Well, and see, the thing about it is you've been out there racing by yourself. You've run your own line. You've been up high. You've been down low. Now you got traffic all around you. You got to readjust your driving style.
Jeff can update Dale Jarrett's progress.
Yeah, Mike, what's going on down here with Dale Jarrett? I was talking to Todd Parrott a second ago, and he said, man, we are so close to making these little minor adjustments. The last time in, I made just a little air pressure. I made an adjustment on the track bar. He said, Dale said, you're getting so close. Just keep working just a little bit more. And they also picked up one spot off of pit road, so they're pretty confident as we go toward the end of this race.
Jarrett's not yet led today.
No, he hadn't. And I tell you, that team has always amazed me. Todd and those guys in the pits can adjust that car. They keep working on it, working on it. I've seen him be junk. Just go about, almost get a lap down, and then they'll keep working on it and get him right back in the hunt at the end of the day. That's why I'm keeping an eye on him.
10 different leaders, 19 lead changes. Jeff Gordon's now led 154 laps. Steve Park has led 112. 5 more bonus points available for whoever leads the most laps.
It's been topsy-turvy between Park and Gordon. One time one of them's better on the get-go, and the other one is, and the next time it's vice versa. So right now Gordon looks like he's got the advantage.
Doesn't it seem, though, Darrell, the longer the run, the better Steve Park is?
It seems that way. Oh, my. And what they don't want to do is look back. I drive like crazy to keep him getting back in there.
One of the key things now, Darrell was going to talk about before pit stops. One of the key things right now is right here, how many laps to go. These cars can go that far easily on fuel, but it would be about 15 more laps than anybody's run on tires. Somebody that's strongest on the long run, they could be the one to win this race.
They could really sneak up on you right at the finish. Matt?
And Larry, that is a concern down here on pit road. I spoke with a couple of different crew chiefs. A year ago, it wouldn't be a problem going 91 laps to the finish when they pitted on lap 302, but with the new fuel cells this year, teams are down about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of fuel on each run. So now a lot of guys are hoping they can go the distance. All right, I want to clear that up. We really don't have new fuel cells. It's the same fuel cells we've always had. NASCAR has tightened the ropes on the rules. These cells hold 22 gallons. We'd stretch it just a little bit, maybe get 23, but because they've held the Pacific so tight on the measurements that 22 gallons is all right on total, Jeff.
You're exactly right. The other thing a lot of these crew chiefs are doing right now to the guys who think they can go the distance and have really good cars on long runs is pace yourself. Don't over-abuse the car early during this run and save a little bit of fuel. So there's a little bit of strategy going on here. If you've got a good car and they have a quick caution, you know you can get in with a good pit crew, get right back in place and go hard. But you don't want to wear your car out and burn too much fuel early on.
Jeff Gordon and Steve Park, and here Bobby Labonte, 2.3 seconds back. His Joe Gibbs Pontiac teammate, Tony Stewart, in tow. And then Dale Jarrett, Johnny Benson, Ricky Craven, Sterling Marlin, Rusty Wallace, and Robert Presley, the top 10. There's the Gibbs team running third and fourth.
Boy, I tell you, it's a great feeling to be this close to the end of the race, be up near the front, and knowing that you may have a little bit left. Knowing that you might be able to step it up a notch when it comes time.
You know, I can't help but think, we look at the top 5, Gordon, Park, Labonte, Stewart, Dale Jarrett. These guys are trying to dig themselves out of a little bit of hole that got dug for them at Daytona after the big wreck.
Yeah, that's right. 8 of the top 10 drivers in last year's Winston Cup points did not finish the Daytona 500. Darrell, 75 laps to go. You watch Ricky Craven and Rusty Wallace battle here with Sterling Marlin. Are you taking care of your tires now, or are you running that car as hard as it'll go?
I believe what you see is about the first 5 or 6 guys there, championship contenders. They know what to do. They know they got to hold a little bit back, save the car some. Everybody behind them driving the wheels off of them, slipping, sliding, pushing, pulling, whatever they can do to keep up.
Wallace moves past Craven. That's 7th place.
And that's the first time I think we've mentioned Rusty all day. He has, you know, been back way in the pack a lot, hadn't really made much move toward the front. But the guys like him, the veterans, the guys in here done that, they're the ones you got to watch at the end of the day because they slip back in the picture.
But this just goes to show you how the right adjustments made, cautions falling your way. We did almost talk about him once earlier. He's about 2 seconds from going a lap down.
Exactly.
Now behind this group, Elliott Sadler and Robert Presley are battling for 10th. That's Sadler on the inside, 21.
They're just resuming a battle that they've had for the last 3 hours. They've been together all day long.
There's Dave Blaney on the bottom, 93, taking the low road.
You know, there's Blaney. He's just quietly been in the top 10 all day long, guys. I mean, just slips around there. We don't say much about him, but he's been in the top 10 all day long.
And you know, there was even talk last year of about 5 or 6 races to go. You saw Robert Presley get real loose off turn 2. They didn't really know the status of Dave Blaney's position with Bill Davis. It's like all of a sudden the last 4 or 5 races, including here in October, business picked up. He was top 10 in them, top 5 in them.
Yeah, I think Blaney's a good driver, and I think he's in a good I think he's in the right situation is what I'm trying to say. That's a good team to be with for him.
Now look just ahead of them. 32, Ricky Craven, and 40, Sterling Marlin. They have been racing for 8th place. Craven goes right up to the wall. Marlin stays right on the bottom, and they exit the corner right where they went into it, nose to tail.
Yeah. You pick up a little speed through the center of the corner when you're down low, but you can't carry it off. You got to, and that high line gives you that momentum, and you kind of just backwards and forwards.
But they're catching Rusty Wallace, who has just moved past the lap car of Bill Elliott, number 9.
Well, the 21 car over there. I don't know what he did, but I just looked up, and yeah, they were all checking up, keep him running into him.
Yeah, he had a moment, and Blaney got by him on the low side.
He had a moment. I like that. I'll never use that sometimes.
That guy saying, Ally McBeal, excuse me, I need a moment.
Yeah, that's it.
That's,
what happened to you already? I just had a moment.
Peter McNichol and John Cage.
Yeah. Look at Ward Burton there in the 22 car. He's working the bottom. He's moving his way. Look at Kevin Harvick. I got to finish the story quick. The last time this race car saw a racetrack was Dale Earnhardt's win at Atlanta. Dale was so excited about Kevin finally bringing this car back to the racetrack.
Harvick moving up around the outside of Ward Burton. At the head of that pack is the 21 of Elliott Sadler.
What we're seeing on that 21 car, Mike and Darrell, is that he may be experiencing a little bit of miss in his engine. I talked to Pat Tryson during the last caution flag, and they said, man, can you help us get in here and get a battery change without losing anything? They have a potential alternator problem, and so the car may start to pick up a miss.
Meanwhile, Dale Jarrett at 5th place continues to hold off Johnny Benson. Benson was ahead of Jarrett before pit stops. Actually was up around 3rd place. Lost 3 spots in the pits. But here's Benson fighting back.
Well, they are catching the orange 20 car of Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Dale Jarrett's got a good race car, but he's going to have to really step it up if he's going to get up there after those leaders.
Now, this group we're watching is 5.5 seconds off the lead.
24 car and the 1 car, I mean, they're just kind of like in a different time zone right now. These cats back here have got good cars, but they're going to have to make, something's going to have to happen for them to get up there and challenge.
64 laps to go. Larry, if we stay green, will you stop or will you try to ride it out?
I believe with the tire we've got here, the give-up's still been there. In other words, it's been falling off, but maybe not as much as the old tire. We talk about the old tire, new tire. This is a little more conservative tire, a little harder tire. I stay out unless I develop a real bad problem.
Man, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to have to jump in there. Think about this, 45-mile-an-hour pit road speed. You can't I don't care how much tires are worth. You can't make up that much time.
Last time Jeff Gordon sat on the pole here, he won. He is the only driver to win from the pole here in the last 8 years. Or last 8 races. Yeah, last 16 races, 8 years. Yeah, that's the math.
Yeah, that's it.
One thing I noticed with the 24 car Gordon and the 1 car Park, they're pretty much running each other's tracks right now. They're running low through 1 and 2 right there coming off turn 2. When they get down to the other end, 3 and 4, you'll see them move up the racetrack, but their lines are not really varying.
You want to know why?
Yes.
As a driver, I can tell you, the sun is not shining on turns 1 and 2, but it is setting in the west and starting to heat up the 3rd and 4th turn, so you run a little higher on that end of the speedway.
Johnny Benson inside of Tony Stewart.
See, I've been paying attention all the years I was driving.
Battle for 4th. No longer a battle anymore. Johnny Benson takes 4th.
The battle is over. Benson is moving. Now, Benson's moving right back up. He's within a spot of where he was when they made pit stops under caution. There are your leaders. Jeff Gordon and Steve Park. They're just 0.3 of a second, or about 2 car lengths apart. And they are 4.5 seconds ahead of that Bobby Labonte. And then Johnny Benson, Tony Stewart, and Dale Jarrett. 2 Chevys lead 2 Pontiacs around Rockingham. Make that 3 Pontiacs. We'll be right back on FX.
Beer is like a natural food product. The fresher it is, the better it tastes. That's why Budweiser has 12 local breweries right here in the United States. So you know, our beer will always be fresh.
This one's for you. And you, and you. This one's for you.
From the quarter mile at St. Louis to the 3rd turn at Talladega to the pits of Laguna Seca. Wherever innovation is the margin between win and lose, the pros reach for the same tools you do. Craftsman, the official tools of CART, NHRA, and NASCAR.
Relax. Nothing's wrong with your TV. It's just fine. But something's coming that will change the way you look at TV forever. That will let you see the future, shift time,
be in two places at once. Better hold on to your bean dip. Ultimate TV.
Busch Series Racing on FX, live from Las Vegas. It's time to get on a roll and make a run at one of the driver's favorites. Because if you play your cards right, you'll hit the jackpot. It's Vegas, baby. Busch Series Racing on FX. Coverage begins with happy hour, Saturday, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific, and Winston Cup Racing Sunday on Fox.
A tragic accident took the lives of 47 sailors and led to one of the biggest cover-ups in naval history.
I believe the Navy is scapegoating a dead man to protect itself.
What are you trying to get at?
James Caan.
This goes way beyond disloyalty.
My son was a hero.
A glimpse of hell based on a true story. Premieres March 18th, only on FX.
30 laps after the resumption of green flag racing, Steve Park says bye-bye to Jeff Gordon.
Interesting thing, Park got by Gordon on the bottom of 3 and 4 down here. They've been running the bottom of 1 and 2 every time. I think he thought he'd throw Gordon a curve. He went into 1 and he ran the high line that time. But now Steve's right down around the bottom again. So I think he was trying to mess with Gordon a little bit.
Gordon's locked up the 5-point bonus for leading the most laps today.
And drivers do that. They mess with each other, you know.
Look at there, though. The two of them combined is at 294 laps of the 340 we've run.
Here's the pass for the lead.
Down on the bottom. If this out gasses him, he'll get a little jump on him right here in the middle of the corner. Slips her right up in front of him.
Steve Park told me yesterday that they only ran the first hour of the 2-hour final practice session. He said this car was so good, we made 2 long runs, find out what we needed, and put it away. Steve?
Mike, I wanted to allude to something DW said a little while ago. When they first got back on the racetrack after that pit stop, Darrell was absolutely right. Steve Park was just riding behind Jeff Gordon. His spotter, Stevie Reeves, said, just ride. Don't be in a hurry. You're going to be better than him on the longer run. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Steve, there was a big debate before the team came to Rockingham this weekend on whether to bring that Atlanta winner that Dale Earnhardt beat Bobby Labonte by inches with. The car had 1 start, had 1 victory, but Richard Childress said we need to bring our best piece. We need to give Kevin Harvick everything we have to see what areas we need to work on. They definitely know one area will be the motor package because Mike Skinner and Dale Earnhardt like different engine packages. It's going to be a learning process from this weekend on.
Harvick right now has given a good account of himself. He's in 13th place. Viva Las Vegas next week. Winston Cup qualifying on Fox Sports Net Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific. Then on Saturday, Winston Cup final practice on FX, 2 p.m. Eastern, and then the Busch Series race. Sunday, it's wall-to-wall NASCAR. NASCAR this morning on Fox Sports Net. The Winston Cup race on Fox, 2 p.m. Eastern, and NASCAR Victory Lane every Sunday night, 9 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Steve Park has jumped out to a 1-second lead over Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, he just said adios. It's time for me to go.
Bye-bye.
I think that's the deal.
You know what Steve Burns said, the different engine combinations, just to clear that up. You know, all these cars have to have the same cubic inches, a lot of the same parts and pieces, but the engine builders can move the power around. And Dale Earnhardt was definitely one of those drivers. He wanted to feel that power when he put his foot back in it. And how they do that is with camshafts and with rod links. Even though they have the same cubic inches, they still can move the power around.
Yeah, these engines are really quite sophisticated when you get inside of them and what the engine builders can do to them. Cylinder head, the size of the ports, type of manifold, even the carburetors. So a lot of tricks, things that can be done to engines that are all within the frameworks of the rules.
Rusty Wallace on the move, bringing Ricky Craven with him, 32, around the 88 of Dale Jarrett.
You know, the big sale, the crew chief and the spotters, Darrell have to have their driver right now that said, look, you got to go further than you've been on tires. Drive that thing smooth. Be smooth with that throttle. Don't slide the front end. Don't slide the rear end, or you'll pay the price at the end of this race.
Oh, yeah, the drivers are going to start calling in here and start to do a little whine in here in a little bit. Man, I can't hold on to her much longer. You're going to have to do something. And the crew chief standing there listening to driver in one ear, watching the scoreboard in the other one.
This is where the crew chief takes a good role of a salesman.
That's when Ivan was for me one time, Ivan Baldwin, he said, DW, you need a caution? I said, yeah, because I'd been complaining loudly. He said, well, he's getting ready to be one. I said, how you know? He said, because I'm fixing to throw my radio and headset right out in the middle of pit road.
Watching Dale Jarrett, who's now back at 8th place. Our UPS cam. 45 laps to go in the Dura Lube 400 at Rockingham. Steve Park, very frustrated last Sunday. He thought he had a car that could win the Daytona 500. He told team manager Steve Neal, I want one of those rings. Steve says, I got 4 of them, Daytona 500 rings. Got his first one with Betty Parsons, got one with Richard Petty. Steve Park wanted that ring.
Well, he obviously had a good chance. At the 12 car on pit road.
Let's go down to Jeff Gordon's pit. Here's Dick.
Robbie Loomis is Jeff Gordon's crew chief. Robbie, can you do anything with that number 1? Have you got any more in reserve in your car?
Well, I can't do anything, but good Lord willing, Jeff can. We're just going to keep working it. Got about 40 laps to go. We feel real good. The car's been great all day.
Will you pit again, or are you done with pitting?
I'm sure most guys are going to try to go for it. If there's a caution, then we'll all come in.
You bet they will, Mike.
Sterling Marlin on the move in that Dodge underneath Dale Jarrett.
It's a battle for 8th right here. Sterling in the 40 car. He's another car that's been pretty good on the long runs toward the latter part of a run on tires.
Yeah, he was a lot of people's pick to have a really good day today. That they thought his car was excellent over the long haul. But again, Larry, as I commented earlier in the show, when you're good on the long run, that's great. But look where he is. He's a half lap back, and his car finally kicks in and starts going. The other guys slow down. You don't. But got to make up all that track time, and you just can't do it.
Can't do it on the tires that you're...
So it's a real compromise. It's a balancing act between having it good on the long run, but still be fast.
Still 16 cars on the lead lap with 40 laps to go. Here at the North Carolina Speedway, Steve Park has opened up his lead on Jeff Gordon to 1.3 seconds. Bobby Labonte 4 seconds off the lead, then Johnny Benson and Tony Stewart. 2 Chevys lead 3 Pontiacs at The Rock. You're watching NASCAR on FX.
Chicken! It's an all-new season of Son of the Beach with all-new episodes that are even more bigger.
Nice shot.
Even more badder.
Look, Ma! No Viagra!
And most of all, even more Johnson.
A pleasure to meet a man with such respect in the community. Props back at you. Gesundheit.
The second coming of Son of the Beach has arrived.
God bless America.
All new episodes premiere Tuesday, March 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Son of the Beach, only on FX.
Sir, this is the kind of shoot that can make history.
3, 2, 1, on. Bill Fly! Oh my God!
Never in the history of the United States Navy have we killed our own and then blamed them for the killing.
We can tell that they were there to pin it on someone or to mislead this investigation.
It's rumored that they're homosexual lovers.
Oh, God, that's
Play hard.
a little pissant snitch.
Bingo.
Stop it, Dave. You can't say that.
How the hell would you know?
What happened in that gun turret?
James Caan, A Glimpse of Hell, based on a true story. Premieres Sunday, March 18th at 8, only on FX.
Well, growing up as a kid, we raced bicycles, tricycles, whatever we could race. That's all I've ever known as far as a job is racing something.
When I'm not racing, I like to get out in the woods, do a little deer hunting.
Racing and hunting, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of similarities in it. You have to be patient on the racetrack, and you have to be very patient in a deer stand.
When I put that steering wheel on, put my helmet on, I've got one job to do, and that's it. That's the best part of our job, is being able to pull in victory lane after a hard day.
Oh, baby, Tough Man brings out its best as we revisit LT's historic fight. The Best of Tough Man 2001, Friday at 10 on FX.
Fox Sports presents NASCAR on FX, our Monday continuation Winston Cup Racing from Rockingham, where Steve Park trying to bust through lap traffic here.
Yeah, and it's really, man, Gordon is closing up in a hurry because of that too, Mike.
The lead went from 1.6 seconds to less than a second on that one lap.
And that's where Steve Park has to be very, very patient. Even though they're hollering at him, but 24 is closing up on him, he can't force the issue. Not now. These tires have got too many laps on them. You start charging in there on people, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Got to be patient.
This is where Stevie Reeves, Steve Park's
He's got it. Oh,
he's
yeah.
running back and forth up there.
Yeah.
We're coming. Let us by.
Yeah.
Where he wants to go by. High side, low side.
Yeah.
All right, Park has lap passed one of the rookies in this race, Jason Leffler, who runs in 32nd spot, 4 laps down.
And you're doing a sail up there, too. We'll remember this down the road if you'll let us by.
Yeah, that works both ways. We'll remember it if you do, and we'll remember it if you don't.
Spotters at work, Steve Reeves, former USAC standout.
And they do a lot more, Mike, than just stand up there and watch the car go around the racetrack. They, like we said, they're talking to other spotters. They're talking. Oh, man.
Yeah, he dipped a little bit too low there and got it upset. And there you see Gordon just a few car lengths.
Yeah, I really think he probably got a little frustrated when that lead evaporated down the way it did, and that 24 closed back up because he knows that Jeff Gordon's as good as anybody at the end of the race on old tires.
But now Park has opened it back up to 1.3 seconds. Steve, any strategy on that number 1 car? Will we see another pit stop?
Paul Andrews said they do not have to stop for gas. They can make it the rest of the way, although they would have liked to stop for tires. But right now, they hold all the cards. They will dictate the strategy. I would be surprised, just speculating, I'd be surprised if he would stop. What do you think, Jeff Hammond?
Well, I think right now, Steve, I checked in with Mike Bean down in the 32-car pit, and he's holding his breath. He's really concerned whether or not the 32 car can go the distance on fuel more than anything else. He said the car's not too bad. They're content right now to ride behind Rusty and run these laps down. But he's really concerned about whether they can make the distance.
This is really going to get interesting at the end here, guys. I tell you, we're watching Park and we're watching Gordon, and they're running pretty much the same lap speed. But that 18 car is just lurking in the back here. There's some cars that are not out of this race yet. A little traffic like he just run into. They get closed back up. Got a real run to the finish.
Darrell, let's pick up a good battle 1 lap down among the 18th and 19th place cars. Joe Nemechek and rookie Casey Atwood have been battling, and now with fresh tires, Jason Leffler moves past them and pulls up on Kevin Harvick. But there is Nemechek, and Casey Atwood have been right on Nemechek's tail for the last 10 laps. Even tried him inside a couple of times. The rookie Atwood giving a good account of himself today.
And he did at Daytona. Remember, he got up in there with limited experience, no Winston Cup experience. Got up in there and raced really well at Daytona, and this is not a bad run for him here at Rockingham.
Here's how the rookies are running today. Kevin Harvick is the only one on the lead lap. He's 13th. Casey Atwood is 19th. Ron Hornaday, 27th. Jason Leffler and Kurt Busch are the rookie candidates. Tony Stewart and Johnny Benson to battle.
And right behind them, closing up, is the 2 and the 32 also. So things are going to tighten up. Even I think Gordon's going to get back up on the back bumper of Park. I think Bobby Labonte is not out of this race. I still got to watch him.
Because he's a master at taking care of his tires.
We've seen him do it. How many times have we seen him do it?
4th and 5th place we saw. Now here's Rusty Wallace, the 6th place car, number 2.
Now, I'm going to make this statement. With 25 to go, nobody's going to pit unless they run out of gas. If you was going to do a short pit deal with 90 laps to go, you do it after you run 45. You get the benefit of all the fresh tires that you can, and we went too deep to it. Steve Burns, is anybody thinking different?
Well, I just went back and double-checked with the one team. When they first made their stop on the last caution, they said, we think we can make it. I just went over to Dave Chauffertier. He said it's going to be close. So they're not as confident now as they were when they stopped the first or the last time.
And our reporters checked with the king of short pitting, Tommy Baldwin, Ward Burton's crew chief, and he says he does not plan to stop.
And, you know, what they'll tell Steve Park is, you know, they'll keep him posted on the lead he's got. And what they'll tell him is keep the butterflies closed on the carburetor. Ease in the corner, back off a little earlier, get back to a little later, but they'll keep him posted on his lead at the same time.
We're going to have an exciting finish, I promise you.
We heard from the onboard of Tony Stewart's car coming up off the corner. We heard him, as Darrell said, pedaling it, getting on and off the throttle, on and off the throttle before he matted it flat. As here Ricky Craven battles with Rusty Wallace. When you pedal it like that, does that use less or more gas?
Well, you don't want to sit there and just pat it. You got to stay off of it. You got to let off a little sooner, getting in the corner, get to it a little later. You can't sit there and just pat it because that's just those squirters are just pumping fuel.
Look at Rusty has caught Tony Stewart, who almost brushed the wall exiting 2.
I can assure you, Mike and Larry, a driver, if he knows he's got to get a couple of extra laps out of his car, he can do it if he knows how. And there's a way to do it. I've done it a million times. And it's all about pushing down on that gas pedal.
The battle's heated up for 5th place. 4th actually on back. Benson, Stewart, Wallace, Craven.
If I was driving that one car, I'd be saying, don't worry about the 24 car, although I know he is. I'd be worried about that 18 car. I think everybody's going to, I think the last few laps here of this race, they're all going to show what they got, and traffic's going to be the difference.
Jeff Gordon's got to bust through this pack of traffic because Bobby Labonte is coming.
And that's what Steve Park loves to see. He loves to see lap traffic between him and Jeff Gordon. He can run more conservative because of that.
John Andretti backs out of the throttle to allow the cars on the lead lap through.
And so many guys will get out of your way, but other guys, well, they're a little apprehensive. It's not as easy to move over.
All right, there's Park, your leader. Let's widen out and pinpoint Jeff Gordon, your 2nd place car. And there's the gap, and you see it moving. 1.7 seconds. Gordon closing just a bit. And now Gordon back to Labonte. Hardly need a boy Fox Tracks for that because Labonte is filling up Jeff Gordon's rear view.
Once they get into clear traffic, look at Bobby Labonte accelerate up off the turn 2 there. I'm telling you, the man is coming.
I think what Bobby Labonte's done, Darrell, he's saved his tires. It's 18 laps to go. Jimmy Mayfar said, buddy, it's time to go. Use what you got left.
You know what he said? You know what he said? Go get him, champ. And when you hear that, it just, man, it just lights you right up. Go get him, champ.
That's a nice sound, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah, we're in the mode that tire conservation's out of the picture.
That's right.
Park the leader. He has 1.7 seconds. As on Fox Tracks will show his speed versus that of Jeff Gordon. And right behind Gordon, Bobby Labonte. Steve Park opening up that lead now to 1.7. And here's Labonte. Right behind Gordon.
Watch him come up out of this corner. He really accelerates well up out of the corner. Bobby Labonte gets a real run on Jeff. I think Jeff is having to pedal it a little bit off the corner, if you will. Whoa, slow car traffic. Down low, up high, in the middle. Here we come.
Now Gordon's Hendrick teammate, there, Jerry Nadeau, backed out and left a hole there for Gordon to slide up into.
Labonte has been really good off this corner. They got him. He's got him.
Joe Gibbs, Labonte's car owner, on the headset. Bobby Labonte makes the pass and takes over 2nd place.
While he's
sets off on Steve Park.
Steve Park, he picked up another 1/4 second, so
yeah.
2 seconds. Here's the battle for 4th now. Everybody's stowed out the stops now. We got about 15 laps to go. It's time to go, boys.
Yeah, you wouldn't stop now even if there was a caution. You'd hang on to her and finish it on what you got. So,
1 on tires. 4 on your inside, on your quarter inside.
My daddy used to tell me the cake's all dough now, son.
Going on your inside, on tires. Well, we ain't got time for this shit right now. Inside.
That's succinct.
Yes.
Use words.
Well put, but
yeah. The spotter's showing frustration. You're out there on the lead lap, and all these cars with fresh tires got the S on their chest.
That's right.
They're going by you and causing you time.
They just came out of the phone booth.
Steve Park is trying to hang on for what will be 12 laps when he comes back to the line. His lead was 2.3 seconds last time by. This time past the stripe, his lead is down to 2.16 seconds.
I think in clear traffic, without anybody between them, I believe Bobby can chase him down. I don't think Park's going to have to mess up for him to catch him.
And look who's coming back. Ricky Craven working Rusty Wallace for 6th place.
I'm telling you, that's a great run for Craven.
Yes.
He has had an awesome day.
And it's going to be the best finish ever for a Cal Wells car. just entering his second season of Winston Cup racing. 1.8 seconds this time. First to second place, 11 laps to go. Steve Park trying to give Dale Earnhardt Incorporated its second straight Winston Cup win. There is that interval, and you see it move in real time as they work around this speedway.
Steve Park had to get up a little higher there, lost a lot of time in turn 4, and he's still got more lap cars in front of him that could play a factor.
Let me tell you, when you're on a track like this and slipping and sliding is kind of the call of the day, anything can happen.
1.58 seconds, second and a half. Labonte is closing, 9.5 laps to go.
Oh, we got traffic that I think will be a factor before we get to the checkered flag, and if Bobby can get to him, Bobby will get down under him and pass him. He's closing, boys. Little by little, he's closing. It's going to be a nail-biter.
The eight laps to go. Next time by, still a lot of cars in front of Steve Park.
One of these
for Bobby Labonte.
If one of these slow cars holds him up a little bit, Bobby will be there. I don't mean slow cars, but one of these lap cars. You see that Harvick pulled right down out of Steve Park's way. Didn't even.
Ricky Craven has caught Johnny Benson. Craven is flying. 5th place.
He's got Tony Stewart. He's not too far. Oh, easy, buddy. Easy. Man, she got loose on him getting down in there. that could run you a good day, but, man, he didn't give up. He stayed after.
But Craven took over 5th place.
I'm glad to see that for that team, for Ricky, for Kyle Will. That's a great day for those guys. They really worked hard, and Ricky's got a good run going.
Bobby Labonte shaved about another 3/10. It's just over a second with about 7 laps to go. He's catching him, guys.
It'll be 6 to go this time by. There they are, first and second, the 1 and the 18. Matt?
1 year ago, Mike, the situation was reversed. Bobby Labonte was leading with Dale Earnhardt reeling him in. Labonte was not good on long runs. Earnhardt was. This team spent a 2-hour session on Saturday trying to get this 18 car to be good over the course of a long run. Hopefully now, at least they hope it's going to pay off with a victory, but time's starting to run out.
Let me tell you, he's going to wear him out when he comes to the line. It's going to be mighty, mighty close.
Park's lead is 1 second.
5 to go.
Down to almost a half a second. The next car in front of Park is his teammate, Michael Waltrip, about 10 or 15 car lengths in front of him.
Rusty Wallace and Johnny Benson almost got together, battling for 6th place.
Well, now's when you just do all you can do, and sometimes you overdo it.
Labonte is there.
He's there, and he's got time. He's getting off the corner so much better than Park is. Park can't quite get the gas wide open as he comes up off the corner.
What do you do now, Darrell, if you're Bobby Labonte? Do you run to win this race, or are you running for the championship?
I'm going to win this race.
All right. It's as fast as he's running down. 4 laps to go, 3 times next time by. I'm going to win this race.
Now watch it. This is how much better Bobby is through the corner. Watch him in the middle and off this corner.
Right there.
Really is coming. He takes the throttle up a little quicker. He mashes the mat a little harder.
Parks and Labonte's spotters are side by side.
He's there, but here he goes up on the outside.
Park went low to block. Labonte's going to try the high side.
He's going to get a whale of a run off the corner. Now he's got to figure out, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Which way am I going to go? I'm going to go down, under.
And Park slips up. Labonte on the bottom. Here he comes. It's going to be 2 laps to go.
Now the hard part for Bobby is to get off the corner with Park to his outside. He needs the whole racetrack to be able to make the pass.
Opposite from 3 and 4. Labonte goes to the high side, Park to the bottom side.
Park's not going to get. He's not going to give him. He's not going to give him room off that corner. Although he's pulled down a little bit. Here we go.
He runs him all the way up to the wall in turn 3 and 4. They'll be coming for the white flag.
Here we go. Oh, he wiggled.
Labonte gets loose.
1 lap to go. This is it.
Park wiggled and got into Labonte. He's going to make a run on the outside right here. Come on, buddy.
Steve Park trying for his second Winston Cup win.
Got to run. He's got to run down the inside. Park blocks him a little bit.
Couldn't block him.
All right, Bobby, he's off early. He's going to gas it hard, and here they're going to come to the line. It's going to be a photo finish.
Park has the run off the high side. He clears the body, and Steve Park scores the 2nd straight win for Earnhardt Incorporated and the 2nd win of his career.
Man, what a great finish. It's just so hard. It was, catching him was one thing. Passing him, as we always say, that's another.
Michael Waltrip last week, Steve Park this week.
Boy, and that team, that company, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, they needed that.
With an Earnhardt hat in his hand, Steve Park will drive to victory lane. His dad, Bob Park, a great modified driver who now works as a gear specialist on that car, will be among those to greet him. Let's go down to Steve Park's pit.
Paul Andrews, the crew chief, tell me what this win means to you and this entire Dale Earnhardt Incorporated team.
That is awesome. I tell you, that was a great run for Steve and us here at Rockingham. I mean, we've been really good here at Rockingham before, but I tell you, to win it like this, after the tragedy we've had this past week, you cannot ask for anything more perfect. This is awesome. Great job, everybody. It's great.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Steve Park turns around to wave that black hat with the number 3 to the crowd. Michael Waltrip gets to share in the celebration. Here's the move that won it.
Right here, Bobby had a shot at him, and Steve wiggled, and that caused Bobby to get sideways, and that really, what do you want to call it, the winning move or not, but that's the difference. He just kind of wiggled his way in there.
What a great day and what mixed emotions there must be for Steve Park.
I can't help but think this is what we call the Polish victory lap, made famous by Alan Kowicki. And he may be out of gas over there, but Paul Andrews, his crew chief, was Alan Kowicki's crew chief when they won the championship and when Alan got killed in 1993.
Matt?
Larry, they came on the radio and said, be careful, you may be close to running out of gas. He goes, I think it just ran out. They said, don't worry, Michael's back there, he'll give you a push.
Yeah, I don't worry about anything now. It can fall apart, it can blow up, it can do whatever it wants to now.
And it's Michael Waltrip's crew who comes out to greet Steve Park, and they're going to have to push that car to victory lane.
Well, I think there'll be a lot of celebrating going on down there today.
You even see one of Bobby Labonte's crew members in the green shirt congratulating. That again, that just shows they wanted to win the race. They couldn't. I don't think they would want a car more so than Steve Park to win it.
No, I don't either. But Bobby Labonte, I mean, that's championship material right there when you come up there and challenge like that from way back.
And look at the high-five exchange as Michael Waltrip waited out on the track to go to pit road at the end of the race.
He says, I got them last week, buddy. You got them this week. We got them covered. Dale would be, he's smiling right now. Dale Earnhardt is smiling down right now.
What a great sport this is, folks. We win together, we cry together, and we all share in Steve Park's victory together.
Awesome day.
This is the easiest work this crew will do today, pushing this car to victory lane.
He had just enough to run those final 2 laps.
These guys say, man, we worked in the pits all day. All that training we did paid off, but we know we're going to have to push the car, too.
See the Dale Earnhardt banner laying there on the bottom of the windshield. Everybody in the stands giving one of those this weekend.
This is going to make everybody, it's going to make all of Dale's fans, it's going to make everybody feel a little bit better. You know, Mike, it's just going to take away that, some of that hurt.
We still grieve, Darrell, but you bet, this helps.
There's no therapy like a victory, and to be a part of a victory.
Come on, guys, roll it up that ramp.
Almost there.
Push. They're there. Steve Park has made it to victory lane at the Rock.
Back it up.
Come on out, Steve.
Grab a gear.
Come on out, Steve.
Dick Berggren.
Steve Park on his way out of the race car. We're going to give him a second to get out of here. Incredible run. A wave to the crowd. Jumps on the roof. High fives all around.
It's a mosh pit. It's a mosh pit.
Steve, have you ever tried harder to win a race than today?
Oh, man, I brought tears to my eyes. I don't know what to say. Just, I want to thank Teresa. You know, Dale's the one who taught me how to drive this place, and he told me to stay off the brakes, and we stayed off the brakes all day long and won the race. So, you know, God bless the whole family. Thank God for this. He's been with us all weekend. You know, we also like to thank Pennzoil. They've just been a great sponsor. We got a great race team here. Nabisco, Nutter Butter, Snap-on Tools, just all the guys. Coca-Cola. I mean,
How about those last couple of laps? How difficult were those laps? You knew Bobby Labonte was all over you.
yeah. You know, thank God it was Bobby Labonte. I mean, he drove me so clean. We ran so many laps on our tires, and I was running out of fuel at the end, and I thought there was no way we were going to win this race, and we did. I mean,
was this just meant to be?
It was just meant to be. I mean, the good Lord was shining down on us, and I'd like to say hello to my mom and dad. I love you guys. They're home. They couldn't be here because it was a rain-delayed event, but just an emotional win.
Great job, Steve Park. Congratulations. Mike Joy.
Also, don't leave yet, Mike. I got a lot to say. I got to thank Paul Andrews, Dave Charpentier, Steve Neal. Look at these guys right here. These are the best. We got the best engine shop. We would like to thank Goodyear. And how about this Chevrolet Monte Carlo? We got one in Victory Lane. My mom's got one at home she drives around, so we got probably one of the best cars out here, too.
Let's go to Mike. The tears are flowing down here, Mike.
Steve Park is the winner here at the Rock in a Dale Earnhardt Incorporated car.
You ready, guys? This could be the ride of your life. You got to get past the myths and the excuses. Erectile difficulty is a common problem. Effective treatment is available. Talk to your doctor. You might be surprised how easily you can get through it.
Sport bikes are all about winning. And right now, the big winner is Honda. 600 Super Sport champion and Formula Extreme champion. Now it's time for you to win on the CBR 929RR and the new 600F4i. With your Honda card, get no down payment and monthly payments as low as $139 on the 600F4i for the first 2 years. Deals to move on at your Honda dealer. The Honda CBRs and you. Everyone wins.
Need a car?
Shopping for a used car will never be the same.
No. A convertible. A red one. With under 15,000 miles.
Welcome to Autotrader.com. With 1.5 million used cars updated daily, it's the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
You couldn't help me with a loan, could you? Can we help you?
Autotrader.com. Your car is waiting.
This is the kind of shoot that can make history.
It was a military exercise that went wrong. It was a Navy cover-up.
What happened in that gun turret?
That only one man had the power to stop. James Caan.
This goes way beyond disloyalty. You're the captain of the island. What you say will carry more weight than anything.
A glimpse of hell, based on a true story. Premieres Sunday, March 18th on FX.
Hey, Notch, why is it called a pit stop?
Gentlemen.
Wow, so it's a lot like a first date.
Premieres Tuesday, March 13th, only on FX.
Steve Park is the winner, and Chevy congratulates Steve and the #1 Monte Carlo on his win today. And as Steve told you in Victory Lane, the only thing that comes close to Monte Carlo's reputation on track is its reputation on street. More champions depend on Chevy. Will be there. Steve Park dives into a mosh pit. He's the winner here at Rockingham. Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Ricky Craven. First top 5 for Cal Wells. Johnny Benson for 6th. Rusty for 7th. Sterling, Dave Blaney, Dale Jarrett, the top 10. Have a look on back through. The first 13 cars were on the lead lap. Back through 20th place were 1 lap down. What a wild and wonderful finish.
Well, it really is. And I just want to, I know Dale Jr. is probably watching the coverage of the race. And Dale Jr., I guess it'd be your turn next week, buddy. Michael got 1, Park got 1, and now maybe you can get 1 next week. Keep your chin up, young man. And I know you've had a tough week, but we love you and we're missing you and wish you were out there today fighting for the lead.
And we'll see you next weekend in Las Vegas as Winston Cup Racing on Fox rolls on.
And you know, I think all week, we, NASCAR, the fans, we've been looking for that sign that it's okay to go ahead and go forward. We got our sign today.
We did. Number 1.
Let's meet the Winston Cup champ and runner-up today by just a car length, Matt.
He almost won it for the 2nd straight year, Bobby. What a race.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was a great race. You know, today the track definitely came around for us a little bit more than it might have yesterday, but all in all, it was a great job. Our guys did a great job in the pits. You know, the car was superb all day, and you know, almost got Steve there at the end, but you know, we raced really hard. He raced me clean, and we raced him clean, and you know, just tried to get by him there at the end. And you know, I told somebody earlier it was a deal where Earnhardt last year helped me win this race by one thing he told me to remind me of. And I thought about that today, and it didn't help me win, but it helped me finish 2nd. And sure, I'm glad to see Steve Park win. He did a great job today. His car was a hot rod all day. It was fast, and we knew it was.
Strong run for Bobby Labonte after the DNF last week in Daytona. We'll have more interviews and details on today's race tonight. Totally NASCAR airs on Fox Sports Net every weeknight at 6 p.m. your local time with Steve Burns. Check your listings. Next week, we're in Las Vegas. Friday with qualifying on Fox Sports Net. Saturday on FX, final practice and the Busch race. Sunday, the Winston Cup race, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Well, Steve Park has the 2nd consecutive win for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. 2nd straight win, 3rd straight win for Chevrolet on Winston Cup Racing. Jerry Nadeau in Atlanta, Michael Waltrip in Daytona, and Steve Park this afternoon. It took 2 days to do it, but Steve Park is the winner in Rockingham. Yesterday at the Rock, the sky cried rain. Today, along with Steve Park in Victory Lane, tears in heaven.
Got a great wife, a great family, proud of my kids. I've really got it all right now. I'm racing and enjoying it. I win. I'm competitive. I'm a lucky man. I have it all.
Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Cause I know I don't belong here in
Busch Series Racing on FX, live from Las Vegas. It's time to get on a roll and make a run at one of the driver's favorites. Because if you play your cards right, you'll hit the jackpot. It's Vegas, baby. Busch Series Racing on FX. Coverage begins with happy hour, Saturday, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific, and Winston Cup Racing Sunday on Fox.